Douluo, starting with a 9-curve vine dragon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Obtain the Treasure. The members of the Min clan present in the living room were all elderly elders at this moment. They all had different expressions, but they all looked at Chief Bei tacitly. The younger generations in the clan also hid outside the door, eavesdropping on the conversation, although the gazes of the older generation of clan elders towards Chief Bei were mixed with some doubt, questioning and confusion. They were mostly filled with trust and support. Then, the younger generation of the tribesmen, especially those who had experienced the turmoil 7 years ago, lost the respect they once had when they peeked at Bai from outside the door. It turned out that Chief Bei had a very valuable treasure. But he would rather watch his people live in such poverty than sell the treasure for money. Not going to the spirit hall to collect the soul master subsidy can be said to be refusing to accept the enemy's charity. But having the ability to allow the tribe members to live a better life but not being willing to give up the treasures is considered selfish in the eyes of the younger generation of the tribe members. Among the younger generation, a little girl who was about 5 years old stood there in a daze, shaking her head after seeing the changed looks from the tribesmen around her. "It's not like that, it's not like that, my grandpa is not like that, you are not allowed to look at my grandpa like that." However, all these objections died down before they even came out of my throat. Bai he was so skilled in cultivation that he had already discovered the younger generations hiding outside the door through the perception of his spiritual power. The piercing gazes from the younger generations made him dare not turn his head to look at them. In the living room, the elders' eyes showed respect and support for his choice, but also mixed with a little expectation in Bai's heart. There were two voices arguing endlessly at first. The two voices were equally powerful as time went on. One of the voices gradually gained the upper hand until it completely eliminated the other voice. "Here, this is what you wanted, Bai." His struggling expression returned to calm. He reached into his arms, took out a jade box from a soul guide that was hidden somewhere, and threw it towards Lin Rong. The old butler took the jade box halfway through the journey using his soul power. After carefully examining it, he handed it to Lin Rong with both hands. The jade box is about 1 foot and 5 inches long and half a foot wide. It is shiny and smooth all over, and is carved from the finest mutton fat jade. Lin Rong's perception also revealed the life energy of a ginseng that was over 5,000 years old, and that life energy took the form of a 5-claw dragon, which must be the crystal blood dragon ginseng. "Alice, you can give it to Tang Sam for free, but I have to coerce and bribe you to give it to you." Reluctantly, Lin Rong took the jade box and kept muttering in his heart, "Why are they all so filial to the Xiaotian sect?" When he put away the jade box, Bai had also put away the gold card and started to drive the guests away. "Duke Lin, the transaction has been completed. I will not see you off." But Lin Rong sat still in his original position, with no intention of getting up and leaving. Instead, he took out a piece of paper and pen and said to Bai, "I heard that Patriarch Bai has a very good relationship with Patriarch Yang Wudi of the Po Yi clan. I have another unwelcome request. I hope that Patriarch Bai can write a letter of introduction. I need Patriarch Yang's help with something." Asking the old goat for help? Are you asking him to refine the crystal blood dragon ginseng into pill? Bai was filled with resentment and resistance, and was about to refuse, but as soon as he said this, he felt that it was not right to do so. Although the deal was already done, what if he rejected the request and the other party regretted it? Although he could control the boy named Lin, the old butler with a cultivation level of soul Douluo could also control the villagers in the village. If he remembered correctly, that person's martial soul seemed to be of some kind of star type, and he was also a controlled type soul Douluo. Once the two sides fall out, except for a few members of the clan who are soul saints or above, the rest of the clan will not be able to escape death. No, that boy's life is not as valuable as the lives of his people. Besides, his precious granddaughter is still outside the door. He can't act on impulse, so Bai took a deep breath, took the paper and pen, and wrote a letter of introduction according to Lin Rong's request. Lin Rong didn't expect Bai to be so straightforward. Bai agreed before he even said what he had prepared. Soon, the letter of introduction was written. After Lin Rong put the letter away, he stood up and said, "Goodbye, Senior, you are really straightforward. It's time for dinner. I won't stay to disturb you guys. See you later." After Lin Rong and the old housekeeper walked out of the village for a distance, a faint silver light flashed on their bodies, And the next moment 2 small stones appeared there at the same time. 3 miles away from here, Lin Rong and his companions appeared here. Not far away, the carriage and the driver had been waiting for a long time by absorbing the soul rings and soul bones produced by the same soul beast at the same time. The skills of both the soul rings and soul bones will be strengthened. Lin Rong's second soul skill, Green Leaf Mark, has an additional space replacement effect. After absorbing Kong King Zhu's head soul bone, Lin Rong can make 2 marked targets exchange their positions just like before. He randomly picked 2 small stones here to mark as targets, and then added green leaf marks to himself and the old butler after that. As long as Lin Rong triggered the 4 marks at the same time and used the effect of space displacement, he and the old butler would exchange positions with the 2 marked pebbles. The maximum distance of spatial displacement is the same as the maximum distance of Kingai mark teleportation. The initial maximum distance is 1 kilometer. For each additional soul ring, the maximum replacement distance increases by an additional kilometer. Of course, although the ability of space replacement is strong, it also has disadvantages. If the marked target forcibly resists at the moment of space replacement, and the resistance is stronger than Lin Rong, there is a chance that the replacement will fail. The stronger the rebels are than Lin Rong, the higher the probability of replacement failure. However, this shortcoming will gradually shrink or even disappear as Lin Rong's strength increases. The 4 green leaf marks were triggered at the same time, and Lin Rong's soul power was instantly consumed by 40%, because the soul power consumed to trigger the Kingai mark is a fixed 1/10 of the total soul power. Therefore, even if Lin Rong cultivates to the level of title Douluo in the future, 12 green leaf marks can exist at the same time without using his martial soul's true body to reduce his soul power consumption. He could only replace 10 targets at the same time. This is also the disadvantage of most soul skills. With fixed percentage consumption, this type of soul skill is powerful in the early stages, but as it progresses, it becomes less effective. Except for a few types that have growth potential or percentage increasing effects, it is true that fixed consumption is the key to both success and failure. Fortunately, Lin Rong's second soul skill, Green Leaf Mark, is one of the few soul skills with a fixed percentage consumption that has growth potential. End of this chapter. Chapter 27, The mind is empty and the body is transformed. Part. In the carriage, Lin Rong spread out the map and checked the route among the 4 single attribute clans. The location of the Min clan was secret, and he spent many days asking around before he finally found the place. The Li clan is in Xiandao City, and the Yu clan is in Longsing City. As for the Pazi clan, there are 7 major sects in the city where they live, and it is one of the lower 4 sects. It is known that in the original work, he was one of the 4 lower clans in the same city as the Pazi clan, and he once threatened Yang Wudi shortly before the gathering of the 4 major clans at the same time. The Xiangjia sect, one of the lower 4 sects, also visited the Yu clan during this gathering. Moreover, in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite Competition, the Elephant Armor Academy, to which the Elephant Armor sect belongs, was participating in the Sky Dou Empire competition area, so it was the first to be excluded. The 3 remaining sects are the White Tiger sect, the Wind Sword sect, and the Fire Leopard sect. Among them, the White Tiger sect is the power of the Xingluo Empire royal family. Yang Wudi was not averse to the attempts of the Xingluo Empire's royal family to win him over, so the White Tiger sect could also be ruled out in this way. Only the Wind Sword sect and the Fire Leopard sect are left at the gathering of the 4 major clans. The Pui clan arrived the latest, which means that the city where they are located is the farthest from Longsing City, and is most likely in the south of the Xingluo Empire. Although both the Wind Sword sect and the Fire Leopard sect are located in the south of the Xingluo Empire, the Wind Sword sect is further south also. The lower 4 sects that threatened Yang Wudi wanted the Pazi clan to join them. There is a precedent in the original work. The martial spirit of the Yu clan is the plate-armored giant rhinoceros, and the martial spirit of the Elephant Armor clan is the diamond mammoth. Both families have beast martial spirits, and both martial spirits are very outstanding in defense. That is why Xiangxiang Huayanzhen came personally to merge the Yu clan into the Xiangjia sect. Therefore, the 4 lower sects in the same city as the Puyu clan should have the same inherited martial spirit as the Puyu clan, which is a weapon martial spirit. The inherited martial spirit of the Wind Sword sect is the Wind Sword, the inherited martial spirit of the Fire Leopard sect is the Fire Leopard, and the inherited martial spirit of the Puyu clan is the Soul Breaking Spear. Therefore, the only one that meets the requirements is the Fengjian sect. To sum up, the city where the Pazi clan is located is Yufeng City in the south of the Xingluo Empire, because the Po clan often helps the Min clan. The distance between the 2 families is not very far with by high speed. If he wanted to get something from the Pazi clan, It would probably take less than an hour if he traveled at full speed, but that was the speed of the white crane. With the power of the 4-horse carriage under Lin Rong, it would take about 5 days to reach Yufeng City at normal speed. Lin Rong was not worried that he would go to the Pazi clan to find Yang Wudi before them and use their friendship to ruin what he wanted. This is a very simple reason. Yang Wudi was extremely obsessed with refining medicine and poison. If he knew that his best brother actually had the crystal blood dragon ginseng but kept it from him, and even sold the ginseng to others instead of giving it to him, given Yang Wudi's hot temper, he would definitely be very angry from then on. Although the friendship between Yang Wudi and Bai He would not be severed, they would still have a grudge against each other and their relationship would no longer be the same as before. Lin Rong looked down at the Yufeng city marked on the map, and gained a deeper understanding of the strength of the Duuluo Empire. If the city where the 4 sects are located was in the Sky Dou Empire, it would definitely be called Fengjian City, but in the Duuluo Empire, it is Yufeng City. This also indirectly proves that the Duuluo royal family's control over the empire is far greater than that of the Sky Dou royal family. Even the spirit halls sub-hall in various cities across the Duuluo Empire have less influence in their local areas than the official power of the Duuluo Empire. If this happened in the Sky Dou Empire, the situation would be the opposite. No wonder 3 of the 4 single attribute clans fled to the Duuluo Empire for refuge. That's the old guy Titan. Because the hidden place of the Xiaotian sect is near Xian Dou City, and Tang Yuho also has Yogsun in Xian Dou City, he thought he could get news about Tang Hao here, so he chose to move his entire family to Xian Dou City instead of choosing the Duuluo Empire where the Spirit Hall has less influence. Lin Rong was also thankful in his heart that he was the hereditary Duke of Xian Dou, not the hereditary Duke of Duuluo. If you were born in the Duuluo Empire, the difficulty of seizing the Duuluo throne would be dozens of times more difficult than seizing the Xian Dou throne. The White Tiger sect belonging to the Duuluo royal family is a tough nut to crack, not to mention the Zhu family, which shares the same fate as the royal Dai family, but the Xian Dou royal family is different. As long as Lin Rong gets the military power according to the plan, he can then guide Jin Ringsu and Tang San to fight each other until both are injured. By then, he will be able to easily seize the throne of Xian Dou with a military power in his hands. Although the plan has been fully launched, there are still many things that need to be taken into consideration. As the saying goes, mistakes are made in haste. Some key plans that affect the overall situation must be carried out step by step. We cannot be impatient. Lin Rong put away the map, sat cross-legged on the cushion and closed his eyes to practice. All fear comes from insufficient firepower. In other words, all confidence comes from one's own strong strength. Plans are always based on one's own strength. If you put the cart before the horse and rely solely on plans and calculations, it will be a disaster. Once plans cannot keep up with changes, all previous efforts will be wasted. On the contrary, if you have the power to suppress everything, plans are just a seasoning to adjust your mood. Lin Rong is well aware of this, so he uses most of his free time to practice the Zisa Sutra to improve his soul power. There are 4 realms in the Zisa Sutra: emptiness of mind and self-transformation of the body, perfect enlightenment and freedom, saving all living beings by appearing and hiding, and transcending beginninglessness in a snap of the fingers as early as the 10th month in the womb. Lin Rong had already practiced the Zisa Sutra to the point of breaking through to the realm of empty mind and self-transformation of the body, but after Lin Rong was born, he lost a blessing of the mysterious state of innate fetal breathing in his mother's womb. Over the past 7 years, when he practiced the Zisa Sutra, he always felt that it was complete, but he always felt that something was missing. So he was unable to break through the Zisa Sutra to the realm of empty mind and self-transformation of the body. Things took a turn for the better until Lin Rong absorbed the head soul bone dropped by Kong King's Hu. Although the head soul bone is less than 1,000 years old, its quality is extremely high. After Lin Rong absorbed the head soul bone, his mental power did not increase much in quantity, but it improved greatly in quality. In addition, the greatest benefit of absorbing this head soul bone is not the mental power, but the nourishment of the soul bone to the essence of the soul. While this head soul bone absorbed the elements of life and space to increase its lifespan, it also released some unknown energy to nourish this soul. The soul is nourished, the mental strength is enhanced, and Lin Rong's own mentality changes under the combined effect of these 3 factors. When Lin Rong was practicing the Zisa Jing, he often felt that he was very close to the state of empty mind and self-transformation of the body. Breaking through a realm is something that cannot be rushed. Therefore, keep a calm mind. Let nature take its course, and breakthroughs will come naturally. And today, not long after Lin Rong practiced the Zisa Sutra, he sensed the opportunity for a breakthrough, End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28, The Mind is Empty and the Body is Transformed. As I have heard, the Buddha told Subhuti that only after the Yijinguang is completed can one do this. Take it easy for a decade, and never exceed this period. The mind is empty and the body is transformed, and one can go wherever he pleases. Quietly Lin Rong's mind was in meditation, and he entered an ethereal state of mind. It was an indescribable and mysterious feeling. The mind is empty, without desires or demands, as if all the changes in the world cannot affect me in the past, although there was only a bottleneck between the state of emptiness of mind and self-transformation of body and mind. It took a long time to take even a single step forward because of that bottleneck. He was always like looking at flowers in the fog or the moon in the water. It was clearly within reach, but he could never get it now. With an ethereal mind, the clouds and mist dissipated, the blurry vision became clear, and Lin Rong was finally able to see the true face of Mount Lu outside. In a desolate wilderness, the driver drove the carriage towards the south. Suddenly, all the vital energy of heaven and earth within a mile radius began to gather towards the carriage. Finally, a milky white vortex visible to the naked eye formed above the carriage, and the center of the vortex was right above Lin Rong. The sudden change made the driver a little overwhelmed, and he was in a panic for a while. Stop the car, just when the coachman didn't know what to do. The voice of the butler came to his ears. The driver's habit of obeying orders over the years ensured that he did not lose his composure, even in a panic. And he quickly stopped the carriage. In the carriage, the essence of heaven and earth has already transformed into tiny liquid droplets. The mist formed by these small water droplets filled the entire carriage, obscuring the vision to the point where one could not see one's hand in front of one's face. Even the old butler Yu Yuan needed to use his mental power to sense the young master's location. Sensing that there was nothing wrong with the young master's condition, the old butler silently said in his heart, "Did the young master break through the nameless formula he was practicing?" It actually caused such a big commotion. Fortunately, this place is deserted. Otherwise, if it was in a busy city, I don't know how much trouble it would cause. The old butler Yu Yuan knew that Lin Rong was practicing the Zisou Jing, but Lin Rong's explanation to the old butler was something he discovered by accident in the family library originally. After Lin Rong truly recognized the old butler, he also asked the old butler to try to practice the Zisou Jing, but he failed. It was at this time that Lin Rong remembered that practicing the Zisou Jing required a certain foundation in the Yi Jin Jing. The reason why he had not practiced the Yi Jin Jing but was able to successfully practice the Zai Sui Jing was because he made use of the mystery of the innate fetal breathing. At that time, he was still a fetus and his meridians were not yet established. So he did not need to practice the Yi Jin Jing, but could practice the Zai Sui Jing. As for the content of the Yi Jin Jing, only a few words were left in the memory of the previous life, so there was no way for others to practice it. As the time goes, the mist in the carriage became thicker and thicker. The old butler was always paying attention to the young master's condition and had no intention of absorbing the vital energy, so that his clothes were soaked. But Lin Rong is different at this moment. His dancing was like a black hole, emitting infinite gravitational force that devoured the vital energy of heaven and earth. Within an inch of his body, these liquefied vital energies of heaven and earth had been absorbed into Lin Rong's dancing before they even touched his clothes. After reaching dancing, these vital energies are diffused to all the blood, flesh and meridians in the body under the guidance of some force, and the impurities in them are gradually refined and expelled from the body. The strange phenomenon of heaven and earth lasted for a total of 1 stick of incense. After an incense stick of time, the vortex above the carriage slowly dissipated, and soon merged into the world, disappearing without a trace. Is this the first level of the Marrow Cleansing Sutra? The mind is empty and the body is transformed. Lin Rong's consciousness returned to the outside world and he carefully felt his current situation. This is the first time I've felt so comfortable since I left my mother's womb. My physical fitness has improved, my mental strength has increased, and even my soul power has increased by 2 levels, reaching level 25, the first level of the Zisou Sutra. The mind is empty and the body is transformed. After a practitioner reaches this level, he can actively enter a state of ethereal mind. In this state, no external forces can interfere with the practitioner's state of mind. Practitioners themselves can also change freely and switch their emotions between joy, anger, sorrow, happiness and other emotions in an instant. After experiencing it for a moment, Lin Rong exited the state of ethereal mind. He suddenly felt a little reluctant and wanted to enter the state of ethereal mind again to experience that mysterious feeling. This is greedy Zen. After experiencing the joy of spiritual practice, you cannot stop yourself and want to be in that joy all the time. Before Lin Rong could suppress this thought in his mind, another stronger emotion took over. Lin Rong almost instinctively held his breath to avoid smelling the extremely stench on his body. Oh my God, I have been practicing the Marrow Cleansing Sutra since my mother's womb, and I can still experience marrow cleansing and hair removal. At this moment, Lin Rong's whole body was covered with sticky black stains, and the sticky feeling made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Fortunately, the carriage was big enough, so he took out the wooden barrel for bathing from his soul guide, filled it with drinking water, and jumped in to wash the stains on his body without caring that the water had not been heated yet. After changing 5 buckets of water and cleaning for half an hour, Lin Rong finally felt that she was clean again. After taking the clothes handed over by the old housekeeper and putting them on, Lin Rong leaned on the windowsill and looked back during the half hour that he was bathing. The carriage had already traveled a long distance. Although Lin Rong didn't know how big a fuss his breakthrough had caused, it was definitely not small. The range in which the vital energy of heaven and earth is drawn is only 1 mile in radius. But the strange phenomena of heaven and earth formed can be seen within a radius of several miles. The strange phenomenon in heaven and earth lasted for a stick of incense, although during this period, the old butler did not have the mental power to detect the presence of outsiders around. But being careful and cautious in everything you do will never go wrong. Therefore, after the strange phenomenon in heaven and earth ended, the coachman received an order and drove the carriage away from that place quickly. This can be considered a blessing in disguise. If I were to break through the realm of the Zisa Sutra in Xiandao City, the commotion that would be created would make people think that some peerless treasure had been born. It seems that when I break through the next level of the Washing Marrow Sutra in the future, before I have enough confidence, I should find a secret place to break through. I just don't know how long it will take for me to practice the Washing Marrow Sutra to the level of perfect enlightenment. After I break through the state of self-transformation of the mind and body this time, it is recorded in the essentials of the Zisa Jing. After a practitioner has cultivated to the first realm, he will soon be able to successfully cultivate to the second realm as well. The third and fourth levels are really difficult, but Lin Rong was skeptical about this. It took him nearly 8 years to reach the first realm. God knows how long the soon recorded in the essentials actually meant. End of this chapter. Chapter 29. Old Goat Yang Wudi. Yufeng City, located in the southern central area of the Duuluo Empire. Among the 7 major sects, the Feng Jin sect, one of the lower 4 sects, is located in Yufeng City. This made Yufeng City famous among all the cities in the Duuluo Empire. About 7 years ago, Yang Wudi led the Pazi clan to take root here, adding a touch of color to the prosperity of Yufeng City. The Pazi clan's superb medicine refining technology has been sought after by major chambers of commerce in Yufeng City and surrounding cities. Any ointments, powders and other medicines made by the Pazi clan would be quickly snapped up by these chambers of commerce and were truly in great demand. The Pazi clan quickly gained a foothold in Yufeng City due to their superb medicine refining technology and developed an extensive trade network. 7 years past, the Pui clan, which suffered the heaviest losses in the Spirit Hall's pursuit that year, has recovered a lot of its vitality except for the number of clan members, and has become one of the most powerful forces in Yufeng City. South District of Yufeng City. The mansion of the Pazi clan was built in a secluded street in the southern district. Whether it is refining medicine or poison, most of them require a quiet environment, so Yang Wudi chose a remote place to build his mansion. In addition, the Pazi clan regards their unique techniques of refining medicine and poisons as treasures and never displays them to outsiders. Therefore, in order to ensure the privacy within the mansion, they deliberately built the outer walls more than twice as high as those of ordinary mansions. When building the mansion at this moment, outside the mansion, Lin Rong and the old butler stood outside the gate, looking at the seemingly ordinary Yang mansion in front of them. The exterior walls are so high, and they use the best building materials. It's just that the architectural style is too low-key. It doesn't look as grand as the residence of the Li clan in Xiandao City. This Yang Wudi built the mansion with so much connotation, but he himself has an extremely hot temper and cannot tolerate any injustice. Sure enough, only medicine and poison can make this grumpy old goat docile. After a while, with a click, the door of Yang mansion was opened by a young man. He was the one who had entered the mansion with a letter of introduction written by he to report, "My 2 distinguished guests, my family leader invites you." The young man walked in front to lead the way, while Lin Rong and the other 2 followed behind. The Yang mansion occupied a large area. It took them about half a cup of tea to reach the door of the living room used to receive guests. An old man was sitting in the main seat in the living room. The old man was tall and thin, with black hair, a ruddy complexion, and sinister eyes. It was obvious at first glance that he was a difficult person to get along with. When the old man saw Lin Rong and the other person come in, his sharp eyes immediately swept over, stayed on Lin Rong for a moment, and then stayed on the old butler. Not sure if it was Lin Rong's illusion, but he always felt that the look in Yang Wudi's eyes when he looked at the old butler seemed to carry a hint of fighting spirit. But then he remembered that Yang Wudi was not only a medicine fanatic, but also a martial arts fanatic, and he couldn't help but think, is this old guy going to have a fight with Grandpa Yu on a whim? This is true. Yang Wudi had just failed in his attempt to refine medicine not long ago, and he was filled with anger that he wanted to vent, but there was no one in the tribe who could fight, and no one dared to fight with him. This resulted in the anger in my heart taking a long time to dissipate. The letter of introduction written by he stated Lin Rong's identity and the old butler's soul power cultivation. Therefore, when Yang Wudi saw the old housekeeper Yu Yuan, the first thought that came to his mind was to have a fight with the man in front of him to cool down. But Yang Wudi turned around and remembered that the two people in front of him were introduced by his good brother Bai, and such behavior was not in line with hospitality, so he suppressed the idea of fighting. Many years ago, my Poi clan had some business dealings with your Lin family, and there is some friendship between our two clans. Yang Wudi turned his attention back to Lin Rong and asked, but you still went to ask Old White Bird for a letter of recommendation. It seems that you have something big in mind. Tell me, what is it that requires you to travel thousands of miles to the Duuluo Empire? On the side, Lin Rong breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Yang Wudi retract his fighting gaze. Hearing Yang Wudi's question, he walked to the guest seat next to him and sat down, answering, friendship will fade with the passage of time, so I went to ask Senior Bei for a letter of introduction. We are here to ask the nobles to make an antidote for the poisonous miasma. As he spoke, Lin Rong took out a transparent bottle filled with emerald green gas. The emerald green gas was the poisonous miasma that Lin Rong mentioned, which was taken from the poison array set up by Duuluo outside the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Yang Wudi took the bottle from Lin Rong, gently opened the cork and smelled it, then recorked it, saying, this poisonous miasma is mixed with the toxins of the green phosphorus 7 absolutes flower and the green phosphorus snake. These two toxins complement each other, making the toxicity several times stronger. It can be considered a mixed poison. When Yang Wudi said this, there was a flash of contempt in his eyes, revealing an expression of disdain for the poisonous miasma in the bottle. The antidote for this poisonous miasma can be made by everyone in my Pazi clan. After hearing this, Lin Rong didn't think the other party was exaggerating at all. In today's world, only Tang San can be compared with a Puyi clan in terms of theoretical knowledge of using poison, but it is limited to theoretical knowledge when it comes to actual operations. Tang San has to admit defeat. However, this matter is not that simple, Patriarch Yang. A little bit of poisonous miasma is nothing, but that area is full of a large area of Bailan Kiju flowers, and the further you go in, the older the Bailan Kiju flowers become. The poisonous miasma in my bottle is just a small wisp drawn from the outermost part, so I would like to ask Patriarch Yang for an antidote to resist that large area of this poisonous miasma. I wonder if you can do it. Of course Lin Rong knew that Yang Wudi had this ability, and he said this just to stimulate him and arouse his desire to win. Humph. Yang Wudi snorted coldly when he heard this. A little brat who was still wet behind the ears actually questioned his ability to refine medicine. It's just a green phosphorus poison. It's just a trivial trick. Please wait for a day or two at home. I will be able to make the antidote in a day or two. Before he could finish his words, Yang Wudi stood up and left the living room, going to his exclusive alchemy room to make medicine in the guest seat. Lin Rong looked at Yang Wudi's departing back and his heart twitched slightly. He's really decisive. I just provoked him a little, but he went to make medicine without even asking for payment. Apart from his bad temper, Yang Wudi is the one I admire the most among the 4 clan leaders of the 4 single attribute clans. However, he has a very close relationship with Bai, so it is not appropriate to recruit him. End of this chapter. Chapter 30, Herb Illustrated Book. On the way to the guest room, Lin Rong asked the young man who led the way, I heard that the nobles are very familiar with all kinds of medicinal herbs in the world, and the medicinal herb backlist in the family is also very complete in terms of the types of medicinal herbs. I have been interested in herbs since I was a child. I wonder if I can have the honor of viewing the herbal illustrations recorded by the nobles. The young man thought about Lin Rong's identity and replied after a little thought, of course, it's not a problem for ordinary herbal illustrations, but if it involves a rare copy that is treasured by the clan, then we need the clan leader's permission. Given your status, the herbal illustrations you want to see are nothing more than the only copies treasured by my clan. The clan leader is already in the alchemy room, so it's inconvenient for us clan members to disturb him. Please wait until the clan leader has prepared the antidote, and then go and communicate this request to the clan leader in person. Well said. The legendary immortal herbs would certainly not be recorded in ordinary herbal atlases, but in the unique copy treasured by the Pui clan. The reason why Lin Rong specially asked Bai He to write a letter of introduction was because he wanted Yang Wudi to give Bai He's face and allow him to have the honor of seeing the illustrated book of the immortal herbs recorded by the Pazi clan. Only if you know how to pick and preserve those magical herbs will things become much easier. If you can't get it, you can only dig up those magical herbs with their roots and soil anyway. Lin Rong still remembers how to use those magical herbs. The other side, Yang Wudi was very angry because his ability to refine medicine was questioned by a 7-year-old child this time. In order to refine an antidote that could resist the poisonous miasma, he put all his true skills into refining the antidote to achieve the best efficacy for this purpose. Yang Wudi also took out a lot of treasured herbs to make medicine: snackerberry, Solanum nigrum, Cnidium maneri, Paris polyphylla, Lobelia. Under the medicine cauldron, flames were burning fiercely. Yang Wudi added the required herbs into the medicine cauldron one by one according to the amount, and used his soul power and mental power to control the process of refining the medicine. The raging flames made Yang Wudi's face red at this moment. As he entered the state of refining medicine, the anger just now disappeared from Yuan Jiayu's eyes, leaving only the obsession and fanaticism for refining medicine. Under this condition, the process of refining the antidote proceeded in an orderly manner. The golden crow falls in the west and the jade rabbit rises in the east. The stars disappeared into the sky, and the east was already bright. To Lin Rong and the old housekeeper were invited to the living room early in the morning, and were told that the antidote to the poisonous miasma had been prepared. As soon as they arrived in the living room, they saw Yang Wudi's unkempt appearance. They knew at a glance that he had stayed up all night, which was why he was able to refine the antidote for the poisonous miasma so quickly. Here is the antidote you wanted. When Yang Wudi saw Lin Rong coming in, he pointed at the 3 porcelain bottles on the table and introduced them. After taking this antidote, its effect will last for an hour. During this period, this poisonous miasma will have no effect on those who have taken the antidote. I have made 3 bottles of antidote. Each bottle contains 10 pills, for a total of 30 pills. 1. Price: 30,000 gold soul coins. 30,000 gold soul coins? There are 30 pills in total, and each pill costs 1,000 gold soul coins. It is quite expensive, but it is definitely worth the price. Lin Rong thought to himself and took out 3 gold soul coin cards and placed them on the table, each with a face value of 10,000 gold soul coins. Of course, one hand pays, the other hand receives the goods. Although I am young, I still understand this principle. Then, Lin Rong poured out an antidote from a porcelain bottle and swallowed it. Then he took out a bottle of poison miasma, placed it in front of his mouth and nose, and took a deep breath. The poisonous miasma entered his body, but he was safe and sound, proving that the antidote was effective. Lin Rong's innate domain can transform this poisonous miasma into pure life force. The reason why he came to Yang Wudi to refine the antidote was simply because Lin Rong's current soul power cultivation was too low, and it would take time to transform the poisonous miasma. The large area of poisonous miasma outside the yin-yang eye of ice and fire is too large for Lin Rong to break through with his current spiritual power, but just inhale a little bit of the poisonous miasma picked from the outermost part, and the transformation will take only a few seconds, so there is no need to worry about whether the antidote will be effective. Therefore, he had no psychological burden when testing the efficacy of the antidote, but Yang Wudi didn't know. So Lin Rong's action made him both angry and admired. He was angry that Lin Rong didn't believe him and wanted to test the efficacy of the medicine, but at the same time, he admired Lin Rong for daring to take the risk and test the efficacy of the antidote himself. After testing the efficacy of the medicine, Lin Rong put away the 3 porcelain bottles containing the antidote, looked at Yang Wudi and said, "Patriarch Yang, to be honest, I came to the Pui clan for 2 reasons. One is to ask you to refine the antidote for this poisonous miasma, and the other is to borrow the rare herbal illustration book that is treasured by the nobles to have a look. Illustrated Encyclopedia of Medicinal Herbs. It's a rare copy. After hearing this, Yang Wudi's eyes narrowed immediately. What? Do you want this for? Did you find some rare herb and need to confirm its efficacy, or maybe the area in your mouth that is surrounded by the poisonous miasma is where many precious medicinal herbs grow? Yang Wudi didn't think in the direction of immortal herbs because for thousands of years, those immortal herbs only existed in the herb atlas of the Pui clan, and no ancestors had ever encountered them. Patriarch Yang guessed correctly. Lin Rong said what he had prepared in advance. That place was discovered by one of my family's guards who has the cultivation level of Soul King. He accidentally entered the poisonous miasma and discovered that there were many medicinal herbs growing in it, some of which he could not recognize. My guard had a higher resistance to toxins because of his martial spirit, so he was able to escape from the poisonous miasma. Although the poison has been suppressed afterwards, there is no good doctor in Xiandao City who can completely eliminate the poison. So, the antidote I'm looking for on this trip is, first, to save my guard, and second, to be able to enter the poisonous miasma to pick herbs. But most rare herbs require specific picking techniques and preservation methods, so I thought of borrowing the herb illustrations collected by the nobles to take a look. I wonder if Patriarch Yang would be willing to lend me the illustrated guide. This. Yang Wudi hesitated logically. He should have refused directly, but the man in front of him was introduced by Old White Bird after all, and he didn't want to offend his good brother for a moment. I was in a dilemma after hesitating for a long time. Yang Wudi finally agreed and said, for Old White Bird's sake, I will make an exception this time. However, you can only watch here for half an hour. Lin Rong was delighted when he heard this and replied, thank you, Patriarch Yang. I understand now. He took the old book that Yang Wudi took out from the soul guide with both hands, and opened it to read it page by page. If Lin Rong hadn't been afraid that Yang Wudi would notice something, he would have directly turned to the pages recording the immortal herbs, but Yang Wudi was watching right beside him, so Lin Rong could only be patient and read page by page. After working hard, he finally finished turning every page of the atlas within half an hour, and successfully memorized the detailed information of those magical herbs. End of this chapter. Chapter 31. Immortal Herbs. Thank you very much, Patriarch Yang. Lin Rong returned the unique illustrated book to Yang Wudi and thanked him with a bow. See you in Xiandao City in 4 months. Yang Wudi was quite surprised when he heard this, and then he suddenly said, I didn't expect that Old White Bird would tell you all this. 4 months later, it will be the biennial gathering of our 4 single attribute clans. This time, it is the turn of the Power Clan to host the gathering. Oh, by the way, the Power Clan is in Xiandao City, and you are also in Xiandao City. It is also possible that the old gorilla guy told you. Neither. Lin Rong replied calmly, this matter is not a secret. Since I have something to ask of Chief Yang, of course I will investigate it in advance. Otherwise, what will we do if you are not at home when we come all the way here? After saying that, Lin Rong hesitated in his heart, wondering whether he should tell Yang Wudi about Tang San, but he thought about it carefully again and decided to forget it when talking with others. It is most taboo to talk about deep things with someone you have just met, especially when the other person is much stronger than you. Yang Wudi had a bad temper, and if I told him about this matter in person, there might be unexpected serious consequences, so, instead of telling him now, it would be better to let him discover it himself. And 4 months later, Tang San was only 8 years and 3 months old, and his spirit power was less than level 20, but he couldn't defeat Yang Wudi head-on as in the original novel, and win the heart of this martial arts fanatic by his strength without the 2 immortal herbs, Yaoxiang Kilo and Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng. Tang San would not be able to win over Yang Wudi, the herb fanatic. Therefore, there was no way Tang San would be able to subdue the Po Yi clan in 4 months. It is impossible to subdue the Pa Zi clan, even if Bai is willing to submit to Tang San, but the Min clan, which was a gift from the Po clan, would not submit to Tang San. Perhaps the Yu clan would join for Titan's sake, but it wouldn't be a big deal because the value of the architecture that the Yu clan excels in is the least worth mentioning among the 4 single attribute clans. In this case, Lin Rong does not need to intervene in this matter, so as not to be implicated by the furious Yang Wudi. Then, Lin Rong stood up and said goodbye to Yang Wudi. Patriarch Yang, thank you for disturbing us. We will take our leave now. On the way back to Xiandao City, Lin Rong had been thinking about the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Now that he had the antidote in his hands, he had also memorized the methods of picking and preserving various rare herbs with his support. He could pass through the poison array set up by Dugubo at any time and pick the rare herbs in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. It can be said that everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. He just needs to wait for a day when Dugubo is not on the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire and pick all the herbs. However, Dugubo was poisoned due to the backlash of his martial spirit also, because of the extremely cold and hot environment of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. It can suppress the poison in Dugubo's body. Therefore, this old fellow would go to the yin-yang eye of ice and fire for at least 7 or 8 days out of 10, using the special environment there to alleviate the extreme pain caused by the poison eroding his body. Therefore, he had to choose carefully the time to go to the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire to pick herbs. That had to be a day when Dugubo would never go to yin-yang eyes, so that it would be absolutely safe. In fact, there really was such a day, and that was the birthday of Dugubo's granddaughter, Yuan. Dugubo lost his father in his early years, his wife in his middle age, and his son in his old age. He loved his only granddaughter extremely, so on Yuan's birthday, Dugubo will definitely stay with his granddaughter to celebrate her birthday and will not go anywhere else. It took a lot of effort to find out the exact time of Yuan's birthday. Now, Yuan, who is already 14 years old, is about 3 months away from turning 15. It would only take Lin Rong a month at most to get back to Xiandao City from the Douluo Empire, so there was plenty of time. As one of the 3 great treasure pots in the world, the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire contained 11 immortal herbs, exotic chrysanthemum, 8-petal fairy orchid, gorgeous tulip, heartbreaking red of love sickness, coxcomb and phoenix sunflower, narcissus jade bones, longing for autumn water dew, star-angled black ice grass, fiery apricot, snow-colored swan kiss, and fragrant gorgeous fairy products. Among them, eating the dew in the autumn water can help you develop a golden eye and see through all kinds of strange things. The second level of the Zisojing is Yuan Tongguanzize. After reaching this level, one can see through any person or thing in the world, which is similar to the effect of absorbing the dew of longing. It seems that after taking the Wangchuan Kiashu dew, he should be able to greatly speed up his progress in cultivating to the second level of the Zisa Sutra. The gorgeous tulip absorbs the essence of heaven and earth and the brilliance of the sun and the moon, not to mention the essence of heaven and earth. The sun and the moon themselves also belong to the category of stars, which is in line with Grandpa Yu's heavenly star plate, so it is naturally given to Grandpa Yu to absorb. Needless to say, the coxcomb phoenix sunflower helped Ma Hongjun absorb and purify the phoenix flame, allowing his martial soul to evolve into true fire phoenix. The fragrant and beautiful immortal product is a peerless anti-poison immortal product. It is immune to all poisons within a radius of 10 steps. The fragrance it emits can neutralize all poisons. Such immortal herb will naturally not be given to outsiders. The snow swan kiss itself is non-toxic, but if you get even a little bit of it, any virus that touches the part will multiply 1,000-fold. This killer weapon must be controlled by him. As for the star aniseed, mysterious ice grass, and the fiery apricot, these 2 highly poisonous immortal products cannot be taken away and can only be absorbed on the spot. But he was not willing to absorb these 2 highly poisonous immortal products and allow the 9-curved vine dragon martial soul to develop the 2 attributes of ice poison and fire poison. The opposite of life is death, followed by destruction. In order for the 9-curved vine dragon to be born, it must have these 2 attributes. Rather than letting ice poison and fire poison pollute its own bloodline. Similarly, if Grandpa Yu absorbs the star power, it will also pollute the purity of his own star power, since we can't take them away and there's no one suitable to absorb them. We have no choice but to destroy these 2 highly poisonous herbs. Throw the star anise ice grass into an extremely hot spring, and throw the fiery apricot grass into an extremely cold spring, so that the ice and fire can counteract each other and melt each other. As for the remaining 4 immortal herbs, keep them for now and see what happens later. In addition to the rare herbs in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, all this oil nourished by the extremely cold and hot springs must also be taken away. The crystal blood dragon ginseng in his hand was only a little over 5,000 years old. With that soil, within 3 years, the crystal blood dragon ginseng will be able to grow to 10,000 years old. Crystal blood dragon ginseng, naturally grade 8, evolved over 10,000 years. Only then, the crystal blood dragon ginseng that has grown to 10,000 years old can be completely compared with a 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king. And only then will it be qualified to become one of the 2 core items of his 7th soul ring, although doing so would be a bit of a drain on resources for the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, and would not be conducive to long-term development. But since the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire are still occupied by Dugubo, this is the only thing they can do unless they can get rid of him. End of this chapter. Chapter 32. Jiangxin City. Strength, still strength after all. I am too weak, and I must strengthen myself as soon as possible. Lin Rong took a deep breath, entered an ethereal state of mind, blocked out all those complicated thoughts, and practiced Glazed Sutra without distraction. At the same time, Douluo Empire Southwest, Jiangxin City, Elder Titan. Is this the holy land of blacksmiths, the metal capital Jiangxin City that you mentioned, Tang? Sam sat in the carriage, looking through the window at the giant steel city not far away. Different from the most majestic and magnificent Xiandao city in Tang San's memory, the Jiangxin city in front of him gave him a feeling of grandeur and shock. Even from a long distance, one can still hear the sound of metal hammering. Even the tall and thick city walls are iron gray, looking as if they were cast in metal, and exuding a strong metallic smell. It really lives up to its reputation. Over the past year, most of the metal in the Li clan's stockpile has been used up in the process of forging hidden weapons. Therefore, Tai Tan mentioned this Jiangxin city to Tang San. Although metals can be purchased from other places, they are still cheaper in Jiangxin city, especially when purchasing in large quantities. You can save a lot of gold soul coins. Moreover, in order to forge better hidden weapons, the rare metals needed can only be purchased in Jiangxin city. As for why Tang San came along, it was because Tai Tan said that he wanted to introduce someone to him, the person who has the greatest hope of forging those 3 peerless hidden weapons. I hope I can find the Iron Mother of Cold Iron in Jiangxin City, and the skills of the master craftsman Lu Gao are really that exquisite. If everything goes well, with my successful experience in my previous life, and Lu Gao's own strength, there is hope that he can create the Tang sect's first mechanical hidden weapon, the Buddha's Wrath Lotus, within 4 months. When the time comes, with this item in hand, I don't believe I won't be able to subdue the other 3 of the 4 single attribute clans. Tang Sam narrowed his eyes and looked at Jiangxin City in the distance, and a gleam of brilliance flashed in his eyes. Over the past year, Tang Yuhu and Tai Tan have told him a lot about the past of the Xiaotian sect. Among them is information about the 4 clans with single attributes. The chief of the Yu clan, Niu Gao, has a close relationship with Titan, and the chief of the Min clan, Bai, is his uncle. So it is not difficult to subdue these 2 clans. Only the Pazi clan is the most difficult to deal with, as its clan leader Yang Wudi has a deep resentment towards the Xiaotian sect. Although Tang San had no good feelings towards the Xiaotian sect, it eventually influenced him to conquer it. The Pazi clan is good at refining medicine and poison, and is very suitable for developing the poison and part of the Tang sect's inheritance. Therefore, Tang San had high expectations for the Pazi clan and naturally wanted to do everything he could to recruit them into the Tang sect. The inaction of the Xiaotian sect is really causing trouble for me. Thinking of this, Tang San subconsciously touched his cheek, and remembered the time when he was in the Xiaotian sect and was bullied by those old guys who relied on their strength and seniority. Tang San would never forget the scene of that day, because he suffered the most humiliation he had ever experienced in his life when one day he created the 3 peerless hidden weapons, Buddha's Wrath Lotus, Torrential Pear Blossom Needle and Peacock Feather. He must personally climb to the top of the Xiaotian sect mountain and use the hidden weapons in his hand to tell those old guys in the Xiaotian sect why the flowers are so red. That day, the humiliation he suffered in the Xiaotian sect must be repaid double. But in order to do all this, one must first find the rare metals needed to create the 3 peerless hidden weapons, Cold Iron Mother, Cold Heart Iron Essence, Deep Sea Silver, and Black Iron. Black Vein Iron. Tang Yuho once told Tang San is the world's best auxiliary martial spirit. The owner of the 7 treasures Glazed Pagoda not only possesses the innate skill of ring fusion, but also possesses extremely powerful treasure appraisal abilities. As a result, the 7 treasures Glazed sect became the richest sect in the entire continent. It would be great if there was a soul master whose martial soul is the 7 treasures Glazed Pagoda to help purchase rare metals on this trip with the treasure appraisal ability of the 7 treasures Glazed Tower. As long as the 3 metals of Cold Iron, Deep Sea Silver and Black Iron are available in Jiangxin City, they can definitely be found and bought. Unfortunately, this matter involves the secrets of the Tang sect. Tang San cannot tell the key points to those who are not Tang sect disciples. If we can merge the 7 treasures Glazed Tile sect into the Tang sect in the future, it wouldn't be a bad idea to give the task of purchasing rare metals to them since they have strong financial resources. Tang San was looking forward to the future of Tang sect, and his expectations for Jiangxin City became higher and higher. Tang San had no control over whether Jiangxin City could purchase the Cold Iron Mother, so he could only hope in this way, verifying whether the master craftsman Lu Gao is qualified to create the Buddha's Wrath Lotus is the most urgent thing Tang San wants to confirm at the moment. Therefore, after entering Jiangxin City, Tang San and his party went straight to the Blacksmith Association headquarters. It was a tall building located in the central area of Jingxin City. The building has 5 floors in total, and a black iron plaque is hung above it, with 2 raised patterns of a hammer and a chisel engraved on it. The first floor is the trading area, the second floor is the advanced trading area, the third floor is the blacksmith registration and assessment area, the fourth floor is the VIP area, and the fifth floor is the Blacksmith Association office area. As the president of the Blacksmith Association, Shenjiang Laogao's office is naturally in the core area of the fifth floor, with Titan, the vice president of the Blacksmith Association, leading the way. Tang San and his party arrived at the fifth floor of the Blacksmith Association without any obstruction. On the fifth floor, Silin, one of Lu Gao's 4 direct disciples, walked in front to lead the way. He glanced at Tang San inadvertently from the corner of his eyes, thinking, who is this person? How could Vice President Titan call him the sect master, even? If this person is the son of that person, Vice President Titan should call him young master. Why? On the way in, Tang San occasionally heard the sound of casting coming from the room he passed by, and couldn't help but wonder, isn't this the office area? Si Long, who was observing Tang San carefully, saw his puzzled expression and explained, the so-called office of the Blacksmith Association is actually its own private foundry. Every blacksmith above the Grandmaster level has his own place here. The teacher's foundry is the innermost foundry room number 1 on the 5th floor. Here we are, Silin stood respectfully in front of the metal door and raised his hand to knock. Who? A rough voice came from the foundry. Silin quickly replied, teacher, excuse me, Vice President Titan wants to see you, so I came here to inform you. After these words, no sound came from the foundry, but soon after, with a series of mechanical sounds, the wide iron door slowly slid open, revealing a bright room. There were no windows in that area, and the only reason it was bright was because there was a soul guide lamp hanging luxuriously on the roof. As the door opened, Tang San saw the appearance of Lu Gao, the master craftsman that Titan had mentioned. He was a short and fat old man, height of 1.6 meters, waist circumference of 1.6 meters. He had protruding ears, small eyes, messy short hair, a loose robe, and metal powder on his face. Although one cannot judge a book by its cover, is there really the technology here to create the Buddha's wrath lotus? Tang San was thinking in his heart when a rough voice came to his ears. Hey, what are you looking at? End of this chapter. Chapter 33. The height of the building. The short and fat old man walked forward and looked at Tang San carefully, shaking his head continuously. Titan, when did you, an old man, have another grandson? Look at these thin arms and legs. They don't look like you, a descendant of a gorilla, at all. This person is so rude. Tang San couldn't help but clench his fists when he heard that, but the social etiquette that Tang Yuho taught him still came in handy. He knew that he couldn't turn against someone since he needed help at this time. Therefore, Tang San had to pretend not to care and said, this senior is joking. I am not the junior of Elder Titan. Let me introduce myself. I am Tang San, the leader of the Tang sect. Senior Titan has agreed to join the Tang sect and is an elder of the Tang sect. Seeing this, Titan, who was standing behind Tang San, also explained, Fatty, this is the leader of my Tang sect, not my grandson. If my useless grandson could be half as good as the master, I would be satisfied. After saying that, Titan pointed at the short and fat old man and introduced him to Tang San. Master, this is my good friend, the president of the Blacksmith Association, and one of the 3 greatest blacksmiths in the world today, Lu Gao. Sect leader? Tang sect? These words left Lu Gao a little confused. He first looked at Tang San suspiciously, then turned his gaze to Titan's head and expressed his doubts. Titan, are you suffering from Alzheimer's disease? How can you accept a young boy who is still wet behind the ears as the leader of your sect? Are you terminally ill, or am I just deaf and blind? Do you need me to slap you a few times to wake you up, old man? Fatty, what nonsense are you talking about? Lu Gao's slightly pitying look made Titan's blood pressure rise sharply. He walked up to Lu Gao, lifted him up and shook him, spitting all over Lu Gao's face. I am very sober. I am not terminally ill, nor do I have Alzheimer's disease. Young master is the leader of the Tang sect, and I am an elder of the Tang sect. Do you understand? Lu Gao was a little dizzy from being shaken, and said hurriedly, okay, stop shaking, let me down. After Titan put Lu Gao down, Lu Gao wiped the spit off his face with his sleeve and muttered, "Young master? So it's that guy's son. You old man didn't know to tell me earlier, otherwise, would I have said what I just said, then?" He turned his head to look at Tang San and asked, "Tang boy, why don't you become a direct disciple of Xiaotian sect and set up your own sect? What's the point of Tang sect? What are you doing?" In the middle, Tang San, who had been ignored by the two for a while, showed a standard smile and explained politely, "Xiaotian sect is Xiaotian sect, and Tang sect is Tang sect. A man should be self-reliant. The younger generation does not want to be left behind by their ancestors, but is determined to make a career for themselves in this world. I have come across a rare book, and I intend to use it as a foundation to establish a new sect, the Tang sect. This strange book records a variety of powerful weapons and forging methods. These weapons are collectively called hidden weapons. Unlike soul guides that require soul power to activate, hidden weapons can be used even by ordinary people without soul power. For example, this huge crossbow in my hand, I don't know how old it is. Before Tang San could finish his words, the huge crossbow he had just taken out was snatched away by Lu Gao in the blink of an eye. What an exquisite structure! Lu Gao looked at the object in his hand carefully, then a series of afterimages flashed by, and Tang San did not see Lu Gao's movements clearly because he did not use the purple demon pupil in advance, but in an instant, the huge crossbow in Lu Gao's hand had turned into parts and scattered on the forging table. How amazing! Tang San was shocked by the skills displayed by Lu Gao, thinking, "It was my first time seeing this huge crossbow. I was able to completely disassemble the assembled huge crossbow with just one look. No wonder Titan respects him so much. With such ability, he should become a disciple of our Tang sect." At this moment, Lu Gao lowered his head and looked for something on the forging table. What was that sound just now? It sounded like the metal was damaged. After a while, he found several damaged parts. "There is absolutely no problem with my technique." "That's the problem." Lu Gao turned his head and looked at Tang San, his small eyes wide open, his tone somewhat unfriendly. "Tang boy, did you do something to this thing?" "Of course." Tang San pretended to be very generous and walked forward, his face unchanged, and answered, "Zhu Lianyu is the core inheritance of my Tang sect. In order to prevent outsiders from obtaining it and copying it, I must of course set up an anti-disassembly device inside it. Without the Tang sect's unique disassembly method, no matter how sophisticated the technique is, it will definitely trigger this anti-disassembly device. You have just seen the exquisite structure of this huge crossbow. I will tell you about the power of this huge crossbow. The huge crossbow has 48 crossbow arrows. Each time the spring is loaded, 16 arrows can be fired instantly. Its power is so great that even a defensive 4-ring soul master would have to use his third soul skill to be sure of defending against it. The effective killing range of this huge crossbow is within 50 meters. Beyond 50 meters, its power will be greatly reduced. This is one of its few shortcomings. Tang San was explaining there, and Lu Gao was listening while studying the parts on the forging table and nodding from time to time with Lu Gao's knowledge. He could naturally tell from these parts and their structures that what Tang San said was true, so the look of joy on his face became more intense seeing that Lu Gao's curiosity had been completely aroused by him. Tang San spoke the last sentence in a pretentious manner, "And this huge crossbow is only of mid-level quality among all the hidden weapons in my Tang sect. There are many more powerful hidden weapons that you cannot even imagine." "Senior, what? There are more powerful hidden weapons?" Lu Gao turned around abruptly, and the worldview he had developed over the years was refreshed once again in a short period of time. "Take it out and show it to me, or I won't believe it." "Senior, your words are a bit presumptuous." Tang San shook his head and said, "Hidden weapons are the foundation of our Tang sect. I am only allowed to show you this huge crossbow because of Elder Titan's consideration for me. If you want, however." Tang San's words were interrupted by Lu Gao again. "All right, young man Tang, you don't need to say anything. I will join the Tang sect right now." After Lu Gao finished speaking, he shouted toward the door, "Silin, come here." In just a few breaths, Silin had already rushed over quickly, stood in front of Lu Gao, and asked respectfully, "Teacher, what do you want from me?" Lu Gao waved his hand, put it on Silin's shoulder, and said, "From now on, you are the president of the Blacksmith Association. I am tired of staying here. I want to travel around the continent and have fun. After I am gone, you four brothers must work together to run the association well. If you have any troubles that cannot be solved, go find that old man Titan. After all, he is the vice president of the Blacksmith Association. That old thing Titan lives in. Lu Gao was stuck in his words, turned his head towards Titan, scratched his head and asked, "Where do you live now, old man?" The original book wrote the two words Ji Wang. I searched on the internet and found that Wang is a kind of jade in the shape of a half-bi. Couldn't find any clue about the two words Ji Wang. In the huge crossbow, the mechanism spring plays the same role as the spring, therefore, the correct way to write it should be machine spring, instead of Jiherong as written in the original book. This is not the first time the original author has made this mistake. For example, the chassis of a carriage is written as carriage ground. End of this chapter. Chapter 34 Synchronous Progress. Lu Gao and Titan had not been in contact for many years, and had only heard about the Xiaotian sect's seclusion from the world. He only knew that the former vassals of the Xiaotian sect had scattered like monkeys when the tree fell and each went their separate ways. As for where Titan led the power clan to migrate and settle down, Lu Gao was not sure. Moreover, that old guy Titan had not contacted him over the years, and Lu Gao even thought that Titan had unfortunately died in the incident that year. Titan and Lu Gao have known each other for many years, and he is very familiar with the character and habits of this fat guy. So, when Lu Gao asked this question, Titan knew what he was thinking just by looking at his expression. His face immediately darkened and he answered in a muffled voice, "Xiandao Imperial Capital, Xiandao City, Xiandao City." After getting the answer, Lu Gao turned his head to his eldest disciple again and said, "Silin, if you encounter any troubles that cannot be solved in the future, go to Xiandao City to find Vice President Titan. Do you understand?" Then, without waiting for Silin to answer, he started to chase people away. "Okay, I still have things to do. You can leave first." "Yes, disciple knows." As soon as Silin's figure disappeared from the foundry room, Lu Gao couldn't wait to get in front of Tang San and looked at him with shining eyes. "Tang boy, I have already agreed to join your Tang sect. Why don't you take out the more powerful hidden weapon you mentioned?" Lu Gao's look made Tang San smile even more, and his tone of voice was calm and unhurried, giving people a feeling of being in a safe position. "Senior, I am the leader of the Tang sect. Since you have already joined the Tang sect, it might be inappropriate to call me Tang boy." After saying this, Tang San saw that Lu Gao was still a little embarrassed, so he took out a roll of drawings from his soul guide, unfolded a corner and flashed it in front of Lu Gao's eyes, then immediately put it back as expected. Lu Gao was attracted by the stunning drawing. After seeing that the blueprint was taken back by Tang San, Lu Gao cursed the little fox in his heart, and immediately lost his face and said flatteringly, "Master, I have already joined the great Tang sect. Can you please take out the blueprint I just saw and let me take another look at it, even just for a second?" Hit a stick and give a sweet aid. At this moment, Tang San had learned the art of commanding his subordinates without any instruction, and thought it was time to give Lu Gao a little sweet treat. "Senior is a master, so you need to start as a disciple. From now on, I will promote you to the position of Tang sect casting elder." As he spoke, Tang San took out the blueprint he had just taken out and handed it to Lu Gao, saying, "This is the forging blueprint for our Tang sect's first mechanical hidden weapon, the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus. The power of the Buddha's Wrath Lotus is extremely high. I have absolute confidence that even if a title Douluo is hit by it, he will either die or be crippled." As Tang San said these words, his eyes flashed with extreme enthusiasm. Even compared with the enthusiasm in Lu Gao's eyes, it was only 1 point less pure and 9 points more ambitious. The two most important things needed to make Buddha's Wrath Lotus are cold iron mother and super concentrated gunpowder. Tang San had memorized the formula of super concentrated gunpowder, and was confident that he could find the ingredients in the formula in this strange world and mix it successfully. And Lu Gao's skills, after showing a little bit of his skills, were recognized by Tang San. Therefore, as long as he could obtain a sufficient amount of frost iron mother, Tang San would be able to have Lu Gao successfully create the Buddha's Wrath Lotus under his guidance at one side. Lu Gao was so fascinated by the blueprint of the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus that he completely ignored the perception of the outside world and only had the structural pattern on the blueprint in his eyes. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Gao finally put down the blueprint with a reluctant look on his face, and said to Tang San, who was drowsy in the seat next to him, "Master, the structure of this Buddha's Wrath Lotus is truly ingenious. There are two things needed to make the Buddha's Wrath Lotus. I don't really understand what super concentrated gunpowder is, but the so-called cold iron mother, take a look and see if it is this thing. As he spoke, Lu Gao took out a fist-sized black ore. There was a slight chill on the surface of the ore, and Tang San was suddenly stimulated by the chill, and his sleepiness instantly dissipated. Tang San, who had just woken up, did not hear clearly what Lu Gao had just said. Stimulated by the ore, he subconsciously put his hand on the sleeve arrow on his other wrist, and the purple demon pupil in his eyes also started to move. This is the ore that came into view. Made Tang San pause for a moment, and then he exclaimed loudly, "Cold Iron Mother." This is Cold Iron Mother. However, when Tang San saw the weight of the ore in front of him, the surprise in his heart suddenly turned into deep disappointment. Too little, too little. This little bit of Frost Iron Mother is not even enough to make one Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus, let alone more. When Lu Gao heard what Tang San said, the excitement on his face grew instead of diminishing. It turns out that the Frost Heart Iron Essence is really the Frost Iron Mother recorded in the blueprint. I was puzzled at the time. How could there be a metal in this world that I don't know about? Now that I think about it, maybe this thing is extremely ancient. At that time, the Frost Heart Iron Essence was not called this name, but Frost Iron Mother. Since it has been confirmed that this object is the Frost Iron Mother, there is no need for the sect master to worry. Although there is not much Frost Heart Iron Essence in the entire Jiangxin city, it should not be a problem to find 4 or 5 kilograms if I search for it in my name. Combined with this piece in my collection, it should be enough to make 2 pieces of Cold Iron Mother iron needed to make 2 Buddha's Wrath Tanglians. Hearing this, Tang San's colorless eyes regained their luster, and excitement filled his whole body. 4 or 5 kilograms of Cold Iron Mother is enough to make 2 Buddha's Wrath Tanglians, even if there is some loss in the production process. Moreover, as the capital of metal, Jiangxin City may be able to find more cold iron, or even the legendary deep sea silver, since black iron is called black vein iron here, and cold iron is called cold heart iron essence here. What would deep sea sunken silver be called? Jiangxin City. On the street 2 men were walking among them, arm in arm, talking in low voices. "Old Wang, tell me, when will our days come to an end?" It's hard to say. When the Duke assigned this mission, he didn't say how long it would take, so, Lao Li, we can only continue to wait. Yeah, that's all it can do. The 2 of them were sent to Jiangxin City by Lin Rong 2 years ago to find a few things: a piece of turbid crystal that is the size of a human head and yellowish in color, a piece of ore with a diameter of 1 meter, a black surface and emitting cold air. There is also a piece of ordinary gray ore that is only 1/3 the size of the jet black ore, and is sold in the same store as the jet black ore. It is also a gift for the buy one get one free deal for the jet black ore. Among them, Lin Rong especially reminded that street stalls should be given priority, followed by small shops, and finally large shops, because in the original book, these 3 items were bought for less than 2 gold soul coins in total. But the 2 bosses felt that they had made a profit. In addition to deep sea sunken silver, plate crystal, hair crystal and cold heart iron essence are all recorded precious metals, but the 2 bosses did not know their value. With such a short-sightedness, the possibility of it being a big shop is very slim. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35: Return. In the past 2 years, the 2 of them have been wandering around the streets and alleys of Jiangxin City every day. Of the 3 things that the Duke asked them to find, so far they have only found the yellowish, turbid crystal. It was 1 month after the 2 of them had arrived in Jiangxin City. They were wandering in an inconspicuous street and bought this item from a vendor for only 5 copper soul coins. I thought I would find one of the 3 things I was looking for in just 1 month. The remaining 2 items are still in the hands of the same vendor, and it won't take long to complete the task assigned to them by the Duke. However, it turned out that they had thought things were too simple. Jiangxin City is the metal capital. It doesn't have much else but plenty of metal. All the big and small merchants who sell metal in Jiangxin City have huge stocks of metal in their hands. Even those mobile vendors have a lot of scrap metal in their hands, and the items displayed on the stalls change almost every day. This situation caused great trouble to their search mission. They are not big customers who purchase metals in large quantities and cannot let the vendors put all their stocks in front of them for them to choose from. What's more, If the remaining 2 items were in the hands of mobile vendors, they would go to great lengths to force them to take out all the scrap metal in their hands so that they could choose. It would be okay if it was just 1 or 2 vendors. And they could still fool the idiots, but with so many vendors in Junction City, if they all did the same thing, everyone would know that there was something wrong with them. Therefore, the 2 of them could only wander the streets and alleys of Junction City every day to try their luck. I never thought that 2 years would pass after the stroke of luck. In the east of Junction City, there's an old tavern. The 2 brothers, Lao Wang and Lao Li, drank strong liquor and took a short rest. We haven't found the alley in the north of the city yet. Let's go check it out after we finish this bottle of wine. Yes, it rained a little yesterday and there was a rainbow this morning. I hope I will have good luck. A month later, Xiandao City, Duke Lin's mansion. So, when you 2 left Junction City, Tang San and his group were still there. Your Excellency the Duke, the carriage of the Nali clan has been parked at the Blacksmith Guild until we found the 3 items and were ready to leave. It has not moved. Listening to the answers of the 2 secret guards, Lin Rong leaned back in the armchair, pondering the intention of Tang San's action. Tang San went to Junction City for only 2 things, purchasing metals and subduing Lu Gao. Why not go earlier or later, but choose to go a few months before the 4 single attribute clans are about to gather? It seems that Tang San has great ambitions on this trip. Facing the other 3 of the 4 clans with single attributes, Tang San is unable to convince them with reason, so is he planning to convince them with force? Among the Tang sect's hidden weapons, only 3 can do this: Buddha's Wrath Lotus, Torrential Pear Blossom Needle, and Peacock Feather. In the world today, the only people who have the ability to forge deep sea silver are Tang Chen, Tang Xiao, and Tang Hao. Now, Tang Chen is sinking in the city of slaughter, Tang Xiao is hiding in the Xiaotian sect, and Tang Hao is injured again. Well, among the 3 hidden weapons, the Rain of Pear Blossom Needles can be directly ruled out. There are only 2 hidden weapons left. One is the Buddha's Wrath Lotus, and the other is the Peacock Feather. Tang San had the experience of successfully making the former in his previous life, but not the latter. Anyone with a normal brain would choose the former, so Tang San is planning to work overtime to create the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus before the 4 single attribute clans gather. But will we make it in time? 4 months. Just rushing back from Junction City will take at least a month. Wanting to create the Buddha's Wrath Lotus within 3 months, is Tang San too confident in himself, or is he too trusting in Lu Gao? From the perspective of his own interests, Lin Rong does not want Tang San to obtain a weapon as powerful as the Buddha's Wrath Tanglian so early. That's why Lin Rong sent people in advance to get the 3 things that Ning Rongrong discovered in the original book without the hundreds of kilograms of cold iron essence. With a limited stock in Junction City, the Buddha's Wrath Tanglian could only produce 1 or 2 at most, and Tang San will definitely use one of them to intimidate the other 3 of the 4 single attribute clans, so that there will be only 1 Buddha's Wrath Tanglian left at most, or even none left. As for the Rain of Pear Blossom Needles, there was no need to even think about it. As there was no gift of the cold heart iron essence, the only place Tang San wanted to get deep sea sunken silver was the Sea God Island, where the tidal body refining was tested. Lin Rong didn't believe that in the original novel. Tang San had no idea about those deep sea silver pillars. The fact that the torrential pear blossom needles require the maker to sacrifice his own life to temper them was something Tang San learned only after Lu Gao's death. Before that, Tang San must have hoped that he could make the torrential pear blossom needle by himself, but Tang San, the descendant of the sea god, didn't get even a bit of deep sea silver from Poseidon, not to mention the current Tang San, who doesn't even know what Sea God Island is. Only the peacock feather was left, which Tang San had no experience in making if Lu Gao relied on his own research without Tang Xiao's assistance. It would take at least several years to make the peacock feather with a few years of buffer time. Even if the peacock feather is successfully produced, it will be within the controllable range. Okay, I already know about this. You two did a great job on this mission. Go down and claim your reward. Lin Rong waved his hand to let the 2 secret guards go away, and turned his attention back to the 4 things in front of him. First, there are 2 pieces of cloudy crystal the size of a human head. One was bought by the secret guard from Flanders for 200 gold soul coins, and the other was bought by the secret guard from a vendor in Junction City for 5 copper soul coins. The volume of the 2 plate crystals is not much different. In the original novel, Tang San was able to extract more than 20,000 dragon whisker needles from Flanders plate crystal. Now, Lin Rong has 2 plate crystals and hair crystals in his hands, which means he has more than 40. 000 Dragon Beard Needles. At least a dragon beard needle is as thin as a hair and about 3 inches long. It ranks 8th among the 100 hidden weapons solutions in Xiaotian Baolu. The stronger the user's own soul power, the more powerful the dragon beard needle will be. Lin Rong naturally wanted to keep this good thing for himself, although his accuracy is definitely not as good as Tang San, who has been practicing hidden weapons since childhood. But as long as the number of dragon beard needles is sufficient, why bother about the accuracy? Then, Lin Rong turned his gaze to the Hongjun iron essence and deep sea silver. These two things are completely useless to him, but to Tang San they are rare treasures in the world. Therefore, when necessary, they could use Tang San's desire for these two things to achieve the effect of forcing Tang San to have the auras for whether Tang San would include himself in the list of those who are destined to die. Lin Rong didn't care if you want to take his life, it depends on whether Tang San has the ability to take his life. End of this chapter. Chapter 36. Falling geese are the colors of autumn. When there are a lot of things to do and you are busy, time flies quickly. When Lin Rong broke through level 20, it was midsummer. As a result, after hunting for spirit rings and distant planets, 3 months had passed in the blink of an eye. The heat of July is scorching, summer is gone and autumn is coming. Xiandao City, located in the north of the empire, is already a scene of autumn. As the imperial capital, the streets of Xiandao City are still prosperous with people coming and going. The climate is dry and there is a cool breeze in autumn. The light yellow leaves were blown by the autumn wind, falling from the bare branches, dancing in the wind, and no one knew where they would go. Xiandao City South District. Dugu Mansion. There is a large maple forest planted in front and behind the courtyard. Since the beginning of autumn, maple leaves turn from green to red and finally fall from the maple trees. The maple leaves are as red as fire, and the maple leaves falling all over the courtyard are like the falling of dazzling fireworks, spectacular and beautiful. Dugu Yan strolled in the maple forest, immersed in it ever since her grandfather Dugu Bo moved his family here. He planted maple trees in front and behind the courtyard and decorated it to be the same as his original home, making Dugu Yan feel warm every year. The maple leaves turn red and fall all over the sky. The fiery scene before her eyes always reminds her of her childhood, the most vague yet warmest memories. Her grandfather Dugu Bo said every generation of the Dugu family is born in the season when the maple leaves turn red in autumn, symbolizing the cycle and reincarnation of life. Dugu Yan herself was born 2 months later, at the beginning of the month. At the end of late autumn sky, sunset, a flock of geese flew by, migrating southward. Her grandfather once said that wild geese always migrate in autumn. Just like everyone in their family is born in autumn, maybe the color of life is the same. This is the origin of the name Dugu Yan. Outside the maple forest, Dugu Bo stood silently in the courtyard, without any thoughts or words. Green phosphorus snake, the martial spirit passed down from generation to generation in the Dugu family. The green phosphorus snake venom possessed by this kind of martial soul not only hurts others, but also hurts oneself. Ever since the ancestor of Dugu family awakened the green phosphorus snake spirit, the green phosphorus snake's innate poison became a curse that the Dugu family could never escape from forever. Moreover, once the owner of the green phosphorus snake martial soul practices the green phosphorus snake martial soul, its innate poison will corrode himself. Moreover, this poison can be transmitted to the partner and the offspring born will also inherit the poison. This poison is contracted from the mother's womb. And if you don't practice the green phosphorus snake martial spirit, the owner of this martial spirit will die early because his body is too weak to withstand the erosion of the green phosphorus snake venom. Only by practicing the green phosphorus snake martial spirit can one hope to live longer. However, by practicing the green phosphorus snake martial soul, the innate poison that corrodes the body will also grow stronger. In the early stages of practice, one can still use soul power to suppress the poison in the body. However, once the spiritual power cannot keep up with the speed at which the poison in the body increases, the person will die suddenly from the poison. This is also the reason why the Dugu family has not lived long. Dugu Bo, the patriarch of this generation of the Dugu family, is talented enough to have cultivated himself all the way to the level of Soul Douluo. After practicing to this level, Dugu Bo's ability to suppress the poison in his body has reached its limit, but perhaps it was God's will that allowed Dugu Bo to discover the rare treasure of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. The environment there is extremely cold and extremely hot. If an ordinary person were to stay there for long, he would die because of the erosion of the two extremes. But for Dugu Bo, who was carrying a deadly poison, the extremely cold and hot auras there suppressed the poison in his body. With this opportunity, even though Dugu Bo didn't recognize any of the peerless immortal items in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, he was able to cultivate to the realm of tidal Douluo due to the combination of fate. After cultivating to the level of tidal Douluo, Dugu Bo completed his lifelong pursuit and had no regrets in this life. The only person he was concerned about was his granddaughter Dugu Ian. Du Yubo's biological father died young, as did his only son. Even his daughter-in-law died after giving birth to Du Yuan because she was infected by the poison infected by his son. In order for his granddaughter to gain happiness and freedom, Du Yubo concealed the family's martial arts secrets from Du Yuan, but truth will come out sooner or later, and one day, Du Yuan will discover the secret of her own martial arts soul. But these are not what Du Yubo is most worried about. There is another matter. Du Yuan's talent for cultivation was not very good, and because Du Yubo had doted on her since she was a child, she was not very serious about cultivation. In 2 months, Du Yuan will be 15 years old. However, Du Yuan's soul power level is only level 29, which is close to level 30. At this rate of training, it is impossible for Du Yuan to cultivate his soul power to the level sufficient to enter the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. The environment there was such that even Du Yubo couldn't stay for long. If Du Yuan wanted to use the environment of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire to suppress the poison, he would need to have the cultivation level of a soul sage at least. However, due to Du Yubo's own cultivation level, the poison passed on to his offspring was even more powerful. Given Du Yuan's current condition, she can only practice until she is 25 years old at most. Before her soul power will not be able to suppress the poison. As for the 25-year-old soul saint, Du Yubo didn't even dare to think about it. Therefore, Du Yubo only hopes that his granddaughter can live happily in her limited life, and the rest is no longer important. 2 months later, it will be his granddaughter's birthday. And he must make it a beautiful one and prepare the best birthday gift. Maybe by then, his granddaughter's soul power will also break through to level 30, which will be a double blessing since this is possible. He has to go to the Sunset Forest and capture alive a snake-like soul beast that is suitable to be his granddaughter's third soul ring. If his granddaughter had really broken through to level 30 that day, by then, he would be able to take out the captured snake soul beast and give his granddaughter double the joy. Time flies, and it is the Mid-Autumn Festival. The autumn heat wave arrived on time, just like in previous years when the temperature rises and it is sunny without rain during the day. The cool autumn weather turned into a scorching hot day, but at night, the temperature dropped rapidly and became much colder than the previous few days. Duke Lin's mansion, banyan tree forest. In late autumn, the place is still evergreen. Without a single yellow leaf, the dense branches and leaves in the forest completely block out the sunshine from the cloudless sky, making the climate in the forest still cool and pleasant. Young Master, the 7 treasures glazed sect sent 2 things over. When Lin Rong heard this, he looked up along the old butler's hand. On the tray in the old butler's hand, there was a fan and 2 golden cards, 2 gold soul coin cards, each with a face value of 1 million gold soul coins. As for this fan, the body is made of kingfisher feathers and the handle is made of diamonds. A fan made of kingfisher feathers? A fan handle made of diamonds. Lin Rong picked up the fan, held it in his hand, and looked at it carefully. I have never seen such gorgeous and luxurious kingfisher feathers before. As for the diamond, although its quality is average, if I am not mistaken, it should be a natural diamond from a century-old diamond mammoth. Combined with this, could it be that the feathers of this kingfisher came from the emerald demon bird? Lin Rong's brain worked rapidly and he soon figured out the key. Ning Feng's. He was really anxious. In order to verify the effect, he actually used the soul bone to increase Ning Rongrong's soul power to level 20. Moreover, the second spirit ring that Ning Rongrong absorbed came from a green demon bird. Its green feathers, together with the natural diamonds of the diamond mammoth, were used to make this fan. The 7 treasures glazed tile sect does not have any inherited soul bones. I don't know how many 10,000-year soul beasts died at the hands of Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo in order to obtain the soul bone that Ning Rongrong absorbed. The 7 treasures glazed tile sect does not have any inherited soul bones, but that does not mean that the 7 treasures glazed tile sect does not have soul bones. For the 7 treasures glazed tile sect, the so-called inherited soul bones not only have to be of a type that matches the 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda, but also the age of the soul bones should not be less than 10,000 years. As for the exact number, it is tens of thousands. Take the Xiaotian sect as an example. The 3 inherited soul bones of the Xiaotian sect are all over 50,000 years old. The 7 treasures glazed tile sect cannot compare to the Xiaotian sect, but it should not be less than 30,000 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 37. Ice and Fire. 2 Eyes. Lin Rong knew without even thinking that after Ning Rongrong absorbed the emerald demon bird's soul ring, the shadow of the 8th floor of her martial soul, the 7 treasures glazed tower, must have become much more solid. That's why Ning Fengzi had someone send this fan to him, and also gave him 2 million gold soul coins as a thank you gift. This Ning Fengzi is really an old fox. He would rather spend 2 million gold soul coins to repay the favor than owe it to others, but it's true. How could I, a man who could subdue Jian and Gu Douluo, easily owe a favor to someone who is difficult to repay? After all, Ning Fengzi was regarded by Tang Hao as a man of great talent. It is quite significant to receive such an evaluation from Tang San's biological father as to whether this statement is a mockery of Ning Fengzi's ability to be versatile and get along with everyone as an auxiliary soul master, or whether he truly thinks Ning Fengzi is a talented person. It depends on one's own opinion. Lin Rong casually put the fan back on the tray and waved his hand to signal the old butler to deal with it himself. The autumn heat has lasted for nearly 10 days, and the time is getting closer to the beginning of the late autumn month. The closer we get to that day, the more excited we become. It seems that my mentality still needs to be improved. Lin Rong sorted out his emotions, calmed down and continued to practice. A few days later it was late at night, and everything was quiet. After some time, midnight arrived, marking the beginning of the late autumn month. At this time, Du Bo was staying at home with Du Yuan to celebrate the new year. At the same time, outside Xiandao City a subtle spatial fluctuation caused ripples, and Lin Rong, dressed in black, and the old butler appeared near the outskirts of the city. The two did not speak. The moment they appeared, the old butler took Lin Rong and rushed towards the sunset forest at full speed. Not long after, Lin Rong and the others arrived at a poison array set up by Du Bo. When they took the antidote and passed through the poison array, a hill about 500 meters high suddenly appeared before their eyes. As he approached the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, Lin Rong had already sensed a faint breath of extreme cold and heat with the help of the characteristics of his martial soul. Recalling the introduction of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire in the original work, Lin Rong deployed the vine dragon field to cover himself and the old butler, and then walked to the top of the mountain under the cover of night. Lin Rong and the others quickly reached the top of the mountain. Thick hot air continued to rise from the valley, making it impossible to see the situation below the cliff. Seeing this, the old butler said, "Young master, the situation below the cliff is unclear. Why don't you let me go down first to investigate the situation and come back to take you down after confirming it?" "Don't worry, Grandpa Yu." Lin Rong shook his head slightly and said softly, "According to ancient records, the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire are filled with extremely cold and extremely hot spiritual energy. Under normal circumstances, even a titled Douluo cannot stay in there for long. Therefore, Du Bo will not leave any hidden tricks behind, because there is no need at all, and at this moment, Du Bo is at home celebrating his granddaughter's birthday. Right now, the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire are empty, so, Grandpa Yu, just take me downstairs. The effect of my innate domain is to isolate and transform the two extreme spiritual energies of extreme cold and extreme heat. With this layer of protection, we don't need to worry about our safety in the short term." After hearing this, the old butler no longer insisted, but for the sake of caution, the old butler activated his martial soul before taking Lin Rong down with him. Amid the thick heat, the old butler held Lin Rong in his arms and fell rapidly in the air, and finally landed steadily on the ground in the valley. After landing, the old butler first looked around as usual, and after confirming that the place was safe, he carefully put Lin Rong down from his arms. Lin Rong only glanced at the milky white and vermilion hot spring in the center of the valley, then retracted his gaze and whispered to the old housekeeper, "Grandpa Yu, without further ado, please take away all the herbs here, including this oil within 3 feet underground." As he spoke, Lin Rong handed the soul guide green dragon vine on his wrist to the old butler. Among the 12 storage jade beads of the green jade vine, the 3 dragon pattern jade beads are the same as Du Bo's Ruai treasure bag, which can store living things. The herbs here can also remain active when stored in them. The old butler didn't say much. He took the green dragon vine and immediately started to act. Lin Rong was not idle either. After a brief sense, he walked straight towards a certain place. After a while, Lin Rong walked to a medicinal herb. It was a crystal white herb, and every leaf seemed to be dripping with water from a distance. The snow white herb looked slender and curved, like a swan's neck. This grass has a beautiful name, Snow Swan Kiss. It is non-toxic in itself, but it can make any toxin multiply thousands of times. In the original novel, Tang San used this thing to destroy the city of slaughter. Lin Rong looked at the snow-colored swan kiss in front of him, squatted down, wrapped his hands with pure vitality, and carefully picked it from this oil according to the method in the herb encyclopedia. This thing is really too dangerous. Grandpa Yu has no effective means of defense. It is safer for me to pick it myself. After saying that, Lin Rong turned his head to look at the hot spring not far away, and suddenly an idea popped into his mind. After the snow swan kiss was thrown into the Hull Road, it destroyed the city of Slaughter. What would happen if I threw it into the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire? I'm really curious and want to try it. Lin Rong shook his head violently and quickly recited the Zisa Sutra to suppress this terrible thought. Keeping this thing will be of great use in the future. It is better not to do such a suicidal thing. About an hour later the old butler completed the task and dug the entire yin-yang eye of ice and fire 3 feet into the ground. In the eyes of the yin-yang of ice and fire, there are other things besides the 8-angled mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot. All the other herbs and the oil that absorbed the energy of the hot spring have been stored in the green dragon vine. The land left in the valley was neatly plowed and extremely clean. The edge of the hot spring. Lin Rong, who was standing there, saw that the time had come and took out 2 daggers. The 2 daggers are made of different materials. One is made of fine iron and the other is made of jade. Recorded in the herbal illustrations, the star-angled black ice grass can only be picked by objects made of gold and iron. The fiery apricot is delicate and sparse, and only jade-like things can be picked without reducing its medicinal properties. Although Lin Rong himself did not plan to absorb it, since he had already planned to temporarily destroy the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, he naturally had to ensure the medicinal properties of the 8-angled mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot were as complete as possible in the void. 2 banyan tree roots appeared in mid-air under Lin Rong's control. He entangled the 2 daggers and cut off the 2 highly poisonous immortal herbs intact. Then throw the star aniseed ice grass into the extremely hot spring, and the fiery apricot grass into the extremely cold spring. The moment it was thrown in, the hot spring burst into a piercing sound. The 2 extreme energies of extreme cold and extreme heat collided with each other, causing a large amount of mist to rise into the air. And even a lot of extremely cold and hot springs splashed out. Fortunately, Lin Rong had the foresight to retreat to the back and was not affected by the spring water. Got it. It will take decades before the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire can regain their former effectiveness. Finally, Lin Rong took out a huge purple gold chrysanthemum, which was the Kirantong Xianju, one of the fairy herbs controlling the strength. Lin Rong used his weak soul power to shake off a few petals. Although those petals are small, they stand out against a neatly plowed land. Douluo Yu Yuan, I'll have to trouble you to take the blame for me. End of this chapter. Chapter 38 Reborn. The next day, eyes of ice and fire, Dugu Bo stood on a neat and clean piece of land, screaming like a madman. Who did it? Who did it? Suddenly, Dugu noticed a few petals of the strange chrysanthemum on the ground out of the corner of his eye, and subconsciously waved his hand and used his soul power to absorb them into his palm. What is this? Chrysanthemum. It looks so familiar. Where have I seen it before? Wait, the purple chrysanthemum is emitting a faint golden light. Isn't this the martial spirit of Zhihuaguan? After recognizing the source of the object in his hand, Dugubo's expression instantly became gloomy. There's no doubt about it. Zhihuaguan is a famous flower lover. There are so many rare medicinal herbs here, but he doesn't know many of them. But it's not necessarily the case for Zhihuaguan. Maybe he knows all of them in terms of motivation. The medicinal herbs here are definitely worth Zhihuaguan doing this in terms of strength. The poison array he set up outside the valley really couldn't stop that sissy. The motivation and strength are both met. Not to mention that the petals unique to the Zhihuaguan martial spirit are left here. Dugubo looked at the hot spring in the center of the valley with distress. Its efficacy greatly reduced. His hatred for Zhuhu Pass reached its peak, but when he thought about the difference in strength between the two of them, Dugubo had to suppress the idea of going for revenge. Fortunately, although the effect of the hot spring has been greatly reduced, it still emits 2 extreme auras of extreme cold and extreme heat. It is not a problem to suppress the poison in my body. After discovering this situation, Dugubo had even less reason to fight to the death at Zhuhu Pass. After all, his granddaughter Du Yuan still needs his care and cannot die. Deep inside the Lin family's Duke's manor in the cabin, Hongjun looked at the soft and tender herbs in his hand and was very curious. My Lord Duke said that this thing can completely solve the problem of my martial soul, the phoenix flame, being impure. But is this soft grass really so magical? It was a medicinal herb made up of red leaves, the top of which looked like a coxcomb. What's strange is that the veins of the grass leaves are actually reddish gold. Just by holding it in the hand, the temperature of the entire cabin rose several levels. That's enough, Hongjun. Supan patted Ma Hongjun on the shoulder and said, my lord said that this thing cannot be chewed. It needs to be swallowed directly and then refined. Although the refining process is somewhat painful, once it succeeds, You won't have to worry about becoming fat anymore, Uncle. Su is right. Ma Hongjun replied with a smile. He was very happy when he thought that after absorbing this herb, he would no longer have to worry about the evil fire turning him into an ugly fat man. Then, Ma Hongjun glanced at the purple 9-leaf Ganoderma lucidum in Su Pan's hand and said, Uncle Su, please absorb this 9th grade purple Ganoderma first. I will protect you, you kid. Su Pan scolded with a smile. You call me uncle, how can a junior protect an elder? You absorb this phoenix celosia first, and I will protect you, Ma. Hongjun smiled and nodded, and replied, oh, I see. At this time, somewhere in the deep mountains and old forests where few people go, Lin Rong was holding a herb that was completely green with 3 snow-white leaves in the center of each of the 3 leaves. There were a few drops of water, like dew left in the early morning. I have been waiting for you for so long. Whether I can practice the Washing Marrow Sutra to the level of Yuan Guan Zizhe in one go depends on you. Please don't let me down. As he spoke, Lin Rong held the Wangchuan Qiashulu in front of himself and tilted it slightly, allowing the water droplets on the 3 leaves to fall into his mouth. When those few drops of water completely fell off the grass leaves, the entire plant withered completely in an instant, turned into dust and dissipated in his hands. After doing all this, Lin Rong sat cross-legged on the spot, practicing the Marrow Cleansing Sutra to refine the medicinal power of the long autumn water dew. Not far away, the old housekeeper stood there, silently protecting the young master. Time passes slowly. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and before you know it, it's evening in the Duke's mansion. In the wooden house, all the clothes on Ma Hongjun's body had turned to ashes long ago. The extremely powerful medicinal power of phoenix celosia caused a large amount of black juice to seep out of Ma Hongjun's body. During the absorption process, the black juice solidified and accumulated on the surface of Ma Hongjun's skin, making him look like an old man who had lived in the arid desert for decades. His whole body was so dark that there was not a single speck of white. Su Pan looked at everything in front of him and found it hard to believe that so many impurities could be purified from Ma Hongjun's thin body. Recalling what His Excellency the Duke once said, phoenix coxcomb and 9-grade purple Ganoderma, both of these herbs have the effect of transforming one's body. At first, Su Pan was skeptical, but when he saw with his own eyes the effect produced by Ma Hongjun absorbing the phoenix celosia, he no longer had any doubts. The gaze he cast towards the 9th grade purple Ganoderma in his hand became increasingly fiery. I thought that Soul Emperor would be the end of my life, but with the 9th grade purple Ganoderma bestowed by the Duke, after a complete transformation, I will undoubtedly become a Soul Emperor, and I have a chance to become a Soul Saint. I can even hope for a Soul Douluo. Just as Su Pan was imagining the scene of himself becoming a Soul Douluo, a loud phoenix cry suddenly resounded throughout the wooden house. A raging golden red flame was released from Ma Hongjun's body. The flames shot up into the sky and instantly reached the roof of the wooden house, threatening to burn it to ashes. Fortunately, this wooden house was built by Lin Rong's special order, and the wood used was taken from 1,000-year-old sycamore wood, which effectively prevented the flames from bursting out of the sky. Ma Hongjun's body stretched out in the flames. Due to his long-term training in the crater, his skin had turned into healthy wheat color, but now, the wheat-colored skin has become fair and tender again, and the long golden red hair is fluttering behind her head. There was fire all over his body, and a phoenix pattern was faintly visible behind him, making him look like a phoenix reborn from the ashes. A pure phoenix aura emanated from Ma Hongjun, adding a touch of legendary color to him. Uncle Su, why are you looking at me like that? Am I handsome again? In the flames, Ma Hongjun touched his cheek narcissistically. It feels so elastic and smooth. Has my skin gotten so good? That's enough. Upon hearing this, Su Pan couldn't help but cover his face with his hands and said helplessly, stop touching your peeled egg face and put on your clothes. You are so young. What are you trying to show off? Ma Hongjun, who was in the flames, realized that his clothes had disappeared without him noticing. After realizing what was happening, Ma Hongjun immediately covered his body shyly, then lowered his head and looked around for something. Yes, here it is. After finding the soul guy that had fallen on the ground, Ma Hongjun quickly took out a set of clothes and put them on. Okay, Uncle Su. Ma Hongjun, who was a little embarrassed, took over the topic and said, I finished absorbing the phoenix celosia, and it felt really great. Uncle Su, you should also quickly absorb the 9th grade purple fungus. It's my turn to protect you. Su Pan naturally understood that Ma Hongjun was trying to change the subject in order to ease his embarrassment, but Su Pan did not intend to expose it. Instead, he nodded, took out the 9th-grade purple Ganoderma, put it into his mouth and chewed it, then sat down on the spot to refine the medicinal effects of the Ganoderma. At the same time, somewhere deep in the mountains and forests, Lin Rong's cultivation has also reached a critical moment. End of this chapter. Chapter 39 Heart Mirror. Eating the dew in the autumn water can help you cultivate the ability to see through all kinds of strange things different from the original novel. When Tang San absorbed the longing dew, only a layer of faint red gold light covered his head and condensed towards his eyes. Lin Rong's whole body was radiating light at this moment. The light was not red gold, but pure gold, which could also be called bright yellow. The 9-curved vine dragon martial spirit appeared behind Lin Rong on its own, and its surface was covered with a layer of cyan gold light. The medicinal power of the Wangchuan Kiashu Dew, under the control of the Zhisu meridian, did not condense to the eyes, but ramped through the meridians throughout the body. Finally, after being refined by the Zhisu Sutra, the longing dew turned into an unknown pure energy and flowed into the heart. Bang! Bang! A steady and powerful heartbeat echoed in the mountains and forests. All living beings within the range of the heartbeat echo, no matter whether it was a big tree, a small grass, an ant, a mountain bird, or even the old butler with the cultivation of a contra, their breathing frequencies all became the same as Lin Rong's without exception. Under the golden light, Lin Rong's skin began to become transparent. At some point through the skin, you can clearly see the blood flowing in the blood vessels under the cheeks. Bang! Bang! The sound of the heartbeat became increasingly smooth and powerful, as if it had some magical power that made people feel calm and peaceful when they heard it. Under the clothes, at the heart through the skin, you can see that the beating heart is emitting a light blue glow with every beat of the heart. The pale blue light dimmed slightly. This is the external soul bone, the banyan tree heart, which is completely merging with Lin Rong's own heart. When the light blue glow completely dissipates, that is when the heart of the banyan tree completely merges with the banyan forest. After a few breaths, that moment arrived. The golden light on Lin Rong's body has disappeared, and his transparent skin has returned to normal at this moment. Lin Rong still had his eyes closed, but he could clearly see all the scenery within 10 feet around him. These scenes appeared vividly in Lin Rong's mind, and were even more real and vivid than what he saw with his eyes. Similarly, it is clearer and more detailed than what can be detected by mental power. This is the heart mirror. Use your heart to see everything in the world. You have the extraordinary ability to see through any person or thing. From now on, any illusion enchanting soul skills will be ineffective against me. 2. Cultivate the mind mirror means reaching the second realm of the Zhisu Jing, perfect enlightenment and self-realization, which means successful practice. This time when he broke through the realm of the Zhisu Sutra, there were no strange phenomena in heaven and earth. Like the last time when he broke through to the state of emptiness of mind and self-transformation of body, but this breakthrough to Yuan Tongguanzhe made quite a big noise, and the sound of Lin Rong's heartbeat could be heard on several surrounding hilltops. Although, if Lin Rong made a breakthrough in the Duke's mansion, the sound of his heartbeat would not be heard due to the size of the Duke's mansion. However, there are many people and many gossips. If too many servants heard the heartbeat, it would be troublesome. In addition to cultivating the heart mirror, the biggest improvement this time is mental strength. Lin Rong's mind moved, and a small stone on the ground flew into his palm. I can use my mental power to interfere with reality. Unfortunately, I can only do this within the range of my mind mirror. Throwing the pebble aside, Lin Rong finally opened his eyes and saw the scenery 10 feet away. Now the heart mirror has just been cultivated, and its coverage area is only 10 meters in radius. As your level of Zhisu Jing improves, the range covered by the heart mirror will gradually increase. But for the current 10 zang radius of the heart mirror, if you really want to see the scenery, your eyes are better. The deep mountains at night are particularly quiet. Today is the second day of the Chinese New Year, and the moon in the night sky is very incomplete. If you don't look carefully, it's hard to notice that there is a waning moon hanging in the sky among the stars. A cold wind blew. The old butler walked up to Lin Rong and put a cloak on him to keep him warm. Lin Rong wrapped his cloak around himself, turned around and took out two things, a golden tulip and a white jade box. Grandpa, it's your turn. Absorb these two herbs and become the first title Douluo under my command. I will definitely live up to the young master's trust. The old butler took the tulip and the white jade box without saying anything else. After sucking the pistil of the Kilo tulip, he opened the white jade box and chewed and swallowed the 8-petal fairy orchid. After doing all this, he found a place to sit down and began to refine the medicinal power in his body. The beautiful tulip and the 8-petal fairy orchid are a pair of mandarin duck herbs like the star aniseed ice grass and the fiery apricot. They have a complementary effect. Therefore, The kilo tulip and the 8-petal fairy orchid can be absorbed and refined by the same person without affecting the medicinal properties of the two fairy herbs. The old butler Yu Yuan's soul power is at level 86, not far from level 87. The younger you are, the greater the improvement in your aptitude will be from absorbing the magical herbs. The old housekeeper is 66 years old this year, therefore, the old butler will use most of the medicinal power absorbed by these two magical herbs to improve the level of soul power. And the remaining small part will be used to improve qualifications. Most of the medicinal power of the kilo tulip and the 8-petal fairy orchid would, if nothing unexpected happened, be able to raise the old butler's soul power level to level 90. Even if it doesn't work, at least it can be upgraded to level 89, which is close to level 90. It would take at most a year for the old butler to refine the remaining medicinal power in his body and successfully break through to level 90. As for the old butler's 9th soul ring, Lin Rong already has an expected goal, that is to go to the far north forest and use the crystal blood dragon ginseng to lure out the 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king. If everything goes well, Lin Rong will have a title Douluo with 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone. Speaking of this, Lin Rong took out a white peony with several blood red spots on its petals, which looked a bit thrilling. This is exactly the acacia heartbreak red, as called by the king of immortal products. Under the flower there is a black stone named Wuju. Only blood containing the utmost sincerity can make it fall off the Wuju stone. Isn't it just the most sincere love? It's nothing. The first level of the Zisa Sutra is when the mind is empty and the body is transformed. One can enter the state of mind of empty mind and control one's emotions more freely when the mind is empty. The simulated love will not have any distracting thoughts, which fully meets the conditions for picking the acacia heartbreak red. Lin Rong bit his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood, which landed accurately on Bai Mutant. The next moment, the acacia heartbreak red fell off the Wuju stone without any swaying. At this point, Lin Rong has obtained the 2 key items needed for the 9-curved vine dragon martial spirits: true body acacia heartbreak red and crystal blood dragon ginseng. These two peerless immortal products complement each other. Although Lin Rong couldn't figure out how ginseng and peony were related, but this does not prevent the fact that this incident was mentioned in the original novel, and it is something that even the all-powerful Tang sect did not record. End of this chapter. Chapter 40 Harvest. There is less than a month left until the biennial gathering of the 4 single-attribute clans: Douluo Empire, Longsing City in the north, Yufeng City in the south, and a village deep in the mountains somewhere in the south. The 3 clan leaders, the Yu clan, the Po clan, and the Min clan, led their minority people on the journey to the Xiandao city of the Xiandao Empire. As for the host, the leader of the Power clan, Titan, is still in Jiangxin City, the 5th floor of the Blacksmith Guild, Foundry Room Number 1. Cough, cough, cough. There was a cough. The smoke cleared, revealing 3 dusty men. Damn it, the last one failed. It was just a little bit short. Okay, stop complaining. If I hadn't separated the super concentrated gunpowder in time, the 3 of us would have been dead by now. It's a shame, but luckily, we managed to make one. As he spoke, Tang San took out something. It was a golden lotus that looked like a ruby inlaid in it, dazzling and looking like an exquisite handmade work of art. As soon as this object appeared, it immediately attracted the attention of the 3 people present. Lu Gao stared at the golden lotus with fascination and said, "It's hard to believe. If I hadn't witnessed the power of super concentrated gunpowder with my own eyes, I would never have believed that this tiny lotus could be a unique hidden weapon." When Tang San heard Lu Gao say this, he replied, "Elder Lu, don't you know that the more beautiful something is in nature, the more dangerous it is? The Buddha's wrath lotus is so beautiful, the murderous intent it hides is certainly extraordinary." Tang San is in a pretty good mood right now. Although the second Buddha's wrath lotus had a mistake at the last moment of production, resulting in failure, makes something that should be perfect become unsatisfactory. But no matter what, the 3 of them finally succeeded in creating a Buddha's wrath lotus. Elder Titan, I believe that after seeing the power of the Buddha's wrath lotus, the other 3 clans of the 4 single-attribute clans will not refuse our Tang sect's recruitment. As Tang San said this, he saw that Titan's expression suddenly changed after hearing this. He slapped his forehead and said, "It's terrible. We have spent more than 3 months here, and now there is less than a month left until the 4 tribes gathering. Master and Fatty, stop standing there and pack up quickly. If we hurry up, we may still make it in time." After saying that, Titan saw that the 2 had not reacted yet, so he didn't care about anything else, poured away the Buddha's wrath Tanglian, held Tang San with his left arm, swung Lu Gao with his right hand and ran out. Only Level 25, Lin Rong sensed that Ma Hongjun's soul power level at this moment did not reach his expected level. Ma Hongjun's second soul ring was taken from a red sunbird whose cultivation level was over 800 years old. It would at least provide him with soul power of over 2 levels before absorbing the Phoenix Solosia. Ma Hongjun's soul power was at the peak of level 17, which could be considered level 18. That means that in addition to the 2 levels of soul power provided by the soul ring, Phoenix Coxcomb only increased Ma Hongjun's soul power by 5 levels, although in the original book, Ma Hongjun's soul power was increased by 5 levels after absorbing the Phoenix Solosia, but that was an upgrade from level 31 to level 36, which was far more than Ma Hongjun's current level 5 soul power in terms of quantity. Could it be because Ma Hongjun was 5 years younger when he absorbed Phoenix Coxcomb than in the original novel? Therefore, when absorbing Phoenix Coxcomb, more of its medicinal power was used to improve aptitude rather than to improve soul power level. Your Excellency the Duke. Ma Hongjun noticed that Lin Rong's expression was not right, so he asked, "Is there something wrong with me?" "Nothing." Lin Rong glanced at Ma Hongjun and solemnly instructed, "Hongjun, work hard on your training and strive to break through to level 30 as soon as possible. By then, I will have an important task for you." Ma Hongjun was somewhat confused after hearing this, but he still answered obediently, "Yes, Your Excellency the Duke, I will definitely work hard to practice." He has only just turned 8 years old, but he is already a level 25 Great Soul Master. Therefore, Ma Hongjun was fully confident that he could break through to level 30 by the age of 9, so his tone of answer was full of confidence. Seeing this, Lin Rong nodded with satisfaction, then looked at Su Pan and instructed, "Captain Su, in the next few days, learn more about military tactics and various basic matters that need to be paid attention to in the army. Do you understand?" Su Pan was immersed in the joy of breaking through to the Soul Emperor. His soul power was originally at level 58, and after absorbing the 9th grade purple Ganoderma, it unsurprisingly broke through to level 60. So, after getting permission, Su Pan took 3 teams of guards to the Sunset Forest to obtain his own 6th soul ring. And Ma Hongjun's 2nd soul ring suddenly being called by Lin Rong, Su Pan woke up and hurriedly replied, "Yes, I understand." After answering, Su Pan began to think about the significance of the Duke asking him to do so out of war. Army. These 2 words echoed in Su Pan's mind. He glanced at Ma Hongjun from the corner of his eye. Faintly, he seemed to have understood something. "All right, there's nothing for you to do here, leave." Lin Rong waved his hand to dismiss the 2 people, then sat in the main seat and rubbed his head. After absorbing the Kilo tulip and the 8-petal fairy orchid, the old butler's soul power did not rise to the expected level 90, but to the peak level 89. Although he had expected it, Lin Rong still felt a little disappointed. Without the help of the power of the immortal herbs to break through this final blow, it would probably take another half a year to use the remaining medicinal power in the body to break through, when he thought that he would have to wait another half a year before he could gain the combat power of a titled Douluo. He couldn't help feeling depressed. Half a year is enough for him to break through to level 30. Lin Rong is now 7 years and 8 months old, and his soul power is level 27. He already had all 8 meridians open, and after experiencing the cleansing of the marrow and the removal of hair brought about by the breakthrough of the mind emptiness and body transformation, his cultivation speed was further improved. The skill life rhythm of the external soul bone banyan heart, while increasing Lin Rong's total soul power by 50%. It also slowed down his cultivation speed. The increase in cultivation speed brought about by marrow cleansing and hair removal is equivalent to offsetting the slowed down cultivation speed. Therefore, Lin Rong's current cultivation speed is the extraordinary qualification that a person with all 8 meridians open should have in the hall. Except for Lin Rong, there was no one else. "I'm used to having the old butler around, so I feel a little uncomfortable at this moment." The old butler felt that he had let down the young master because he failed to break through a level 90 in one go. So he very rarely put aside the affairs of the Duke's mansion and began to practice in seclusion. Forget it. The superiors always have to get used to being alone. It's better to practice. The sooner you break through to level 30, the sooner you can see the complete form of the 9-curved vine dragon. End of this chapter. Chapter 41. Golden Lotus blooms. Leaves are falling, and frost is coming. Time passes by so inadvertently. Someday in the deep mountains more than 100 kilometers away from Xiandao City, a golden lotus drew an arc in the air and finally collided with a huge rock. At the moment when the golden lotus collided with a rock in the center of the golden lotus, the ruby-like thing bloomed with a strange red color. Ding a. Clear and pleasant sound was heard among the mountains and fields, like a jade bead falling into a jade plate. The next moment the golden lotus blossomed into a golden red tornado that swept across most of the mountain. The golden red tornado vortex only appeared for a moment before disappearing, making the people standing on another hill watching feel like they were hallucinating. HMPH. Yang Wudi sneered and was about to start a mockery when he noticed something wrong. Out of the corner of his eye was a big tree that was swept by a golden red tornado. The three little birds on the branches seemed to be frozen on the tree, not moving at all. The cold wind howled, blowing past them from behind and towards the top of the mountain. On that mountain top, wherever the golden red tornado vortex touched, trees, bushes, insects, birds, rocks, iron, sand and stones, all turned into dust and scattered with the wind under the blowing of the cold wind, and even an extremely huge deep pit appeared on the ground. There was a soundless silence. Everyone was shocked by the tremendous power of the Buddha's wrath. Tanglian, including Titan and Li Gao, who had already witnessed the power of super-concentrated gunpowder, and Tang San, who had successfully created the Buddha's wrath. Tanglian in his previous life. Although Tang San successfully created the Buddha's wrath Tanglian in his previous life, in order to retain his last bit of dignity, he left the three Buddha's wrath Tanglians to the Tang sect. Therefore, it was also the first time that Tang San himself witnessed the power of the Buddha's wrath Tanglian. After a few breaths, Tang San was the first to come back to his senses. He turned his head and looked at the three clan leaders Nia Gao, Bai, and Yang Wudi, and said proudly, "How is it? Have the hidden weapons of our Tang sect caught the attention of the seniors? With this hidden weapon, our Tang sect will surely be famous throughout the world in the future. Now, my Tang sect is in a state of disrepair and in need of new talents. If you, the seniors, do not give up and join my Tang sect, you can share this glorious glory with me in the future. This is a God-given opportunity. Please don't make the mistake. After all, if you miss this opportunity, you will never get it again. When the Tang sect develops, it will be difficult to get in. Don't regret it when the time comes." Hearing these words that were both overtly and covertly threatening, Yang Wudi, who had the hottest temper, could no longer hold back and was about to teach Tang San a lesson, but was stopped by his quick eyes and hands. He tugged at the corner of Yang Wudi's clothes, signaling him not to act rashly, then turned to look at Tang San and said, "Nephew, your hidden weapon has a promising future. Uncle, I want to know, what will we have to undertake after joining the Tang sect? What are the benefits, nephew?" "Uncle," Tang San smiled disdainfully in his heart. Now he realized that this relationship was involved. Before, the old man's attitude was not so positive and kind, but on the surface, Tang San was still willing to pretend, and answered with a smile, "As I said before, Tang sect is in need of manpower. Since several seniors have joined our Tang sect, they will naturally become our Tang sect's elders. Currently, the Tang sect only has the Li Hall established by the Li clan, which is mainly responsible for forging the sect's hidden weapons. If the seniors are willing to lead their tribesmen to join, then the three tribes will establish 3 new halls, and their main responsibilities will also be related to the things that the 3 tribes are good at. For example, my uncle's Min clan is best at speed and can be responsible for scouting, reconnaissance, information gathering and other scouting work. As for the benefits, our hidden weapons are directly equipped to the direct disciples of each clan. This is the biggest benefit." As Tang San spoke, he saw that Yang Wudi was still looking unruly, and his face suddenly became a little embarrassed. Several soul-guiding lamps handed down from ancient times emitted a blazing glow, dispelling the cold from the outside and keeping the temperature in the house comfortable at all times. In winter, hot pot is the best. Lin Rong picked up a piece of meat, dipped it in the sauce, and then put it into his mouth to taste. At this time, a servant came in, bowed, and reported, "Sir, someone who claims to be the leader of the Po Yi clan is here to visit. He is a soul Douluo and is waiting in the reception room." Lin Rong continued to eat the hot pot, but in his heart he was thinking, "Yang Wudi? I just said it casually at the beginning, why did he really come to me? Could it be that this old guy got humiliated by Tang San? Is he here to seek revenge?" After sorting out his thoughts, Lin Rong instructed his attendant, "It's dinner time now. It's not good to let the guests go hungry. Go and invite Chief Yang over. I'll catch up with him." "Yes." The attendant took the order and left. While waiting, Lin Rong ordered someone to add another pair of bowls and chopsticks. Not long after, Lin Rong saw Yang Wudi walk into the restaurant with a gloomy face. Seeing Yang Wudi's expression as if he didn't know who owed him 8 million, Lin Rong knew that Tang San had not succeeded in recruiting the Po Yi clan into the Tang sect. This is actually quite normal if one wants to convince Yang Wudi. He must surpass him in martial arts and also produce the rare herbs that he is obsessed with. Tang San is currently unable to achieve any of these 2 points, so naturally he cannot win back Yang Wudi. Patriarch. Yang, long time no see, please sit down and have something to eat. In the era of Daowei, hot pot as a way of eating had not yet appeared, so, seeing that Yang Wudi seemed a little confused, Lin Rong personally demonstrated how to eat hot pot. Although Yang Wudi was feeling angry at the moment, he was dragged out to the wild by Tang San early in the morning to watch the power of the Buddha's wrath. Tang Lotus. My stomach was empty at this time, so after smelling the aroma of the hot pot, I couldn't control my appetite, so Yang Wudi didn't say anything more and started eating hot pot. After just one sip, Yang Wudi, who is well versed in pharmacology, discovered the extraordinary nature of the hot pot soup base: ginger, Polygonida majoratum, ginseng, the medicinal power and taste. The herbs in the soup are of extremely high quality. As he spoke, Yang Wudi turned his head to look at Lin Rong and asked, could it be that these top quality herbs all come from the place you mentioned last time? Depend on. Careless. Lin Rong cursed inwardly, then organized his words to answer, not all of them. Only the ginseng and angelica were dug from that place. The rest of the herbs are treasured in my house. Of course, there was one more thing Lin Rong kept in his heart. The reason for this is that only the 10,000-year-old ginseng king and the 10,000-year-old angelica are qualified to appear in the eyes of the ice and fire yin and yang. The rest of the herbs are not even qualified to grow there. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, Dragon Rhyme Immortal Ganoderma Pill. In the hot pot soup base, only a small piece of the 1,000-year-old ginseng and the 1,000-year-old angelica is put. The big-headed ginseng and the angelica are only a few thousand years old. After mixing them together in this way, Yang Wudi felt that the medicinal power of the ginseng and angelica in the soup he drank was not as good as the 1,000-year-old herbs, but better than them if it were in ordinary time. Yang Wudi, who is well versed in pharmacology, would certainly be able to taste the soup and find out that it contained 1,000-year-old ginseng and 1,000-year-old angelica. But at this moment, the upset Yang Wudi did not think too much, but looked at Lin Rong expectantly and asked, what is the most precious herb in that place? Can you show it to me? This. Lin Rong was a little hesitant, wondering which herb should he take out to fool the enemy. Anyway, it was impossible to take out the few remaining fairy herbs. Seeing this, Yang Wudi thought Lin Rong was somewhat reluctant, and said hurriedly, I can help you make medicine for free. If the herbs are rare enough, I can even pay you to make medicine for you. Really? Patriarch Yang, please keep your word and don't go back on your word. Lin Rong responded with a smile, having already decided in his mind which herbs he would take out. There was a flash of light at the wrist of his right hand, and a huge Ganoderma lucidum appeared in Lin Rong's hand. The Ganoderma lucidum has 9 leaves, which are dark yellow in color. There are light golden lines on the leaves, just like dragon patterns. 9th grade. Dragon Zhi, Yang Wudi, who had a sharp eye, recognized what the Ganoderma lucidum in Lin Rong's hand was at a glance, and blurted out in a trembling voice, the 9th grade dragon Ganoderma, like the 9th grade purple Ganoderma, is the best among the Ganoderma lucidum. In the eyes of the yin-yang of ice and fire, it is also a rare herb second only to the fairy grade herbs. This item is rare enough and is not considered a fairy item. Therefore, when Lin Rong took out this thing, Yang Wudi would not associate it with the fact that there were magical herbs growing in that place. Patriarch Yang, I think this 9th grade dragon mushroom should be enough for you to pay for the herbs and make medicine for me for free, right? As he spoke, Lin Rong handed the Ganoderma lucidum in his hand to Yang Wudi. Enough. Of course it's enough. Yang Wudi's previous gloomy expression was instantly swept away. He took the Ganoderma lucidum with trembling hands, his eyes full of obsession with the herb. After a long time, Yang Wudi put away the 9th grade dragon essence in a good mood. He took the initiative to talk about the reason for the visit among the 4 single attribute clans. The Power clan had already joined the Tang sect a long time ago. As for the other 3 clans, after witnessing the power of the Buddha's wrath lotus today, Niu Gao, the chief of the Yu clan, who had always been on good terms with Titan, decisively joined the Tang clan without any hesitation. Bai He, the patriarch of the Min clan, had already been loyal to the Tang clan. but was too embarrassed to agree directly because of his reputation and friendship with Yang Wudi. Yang Wudi was also very straightforward and told Old Whitebird to choose between him and the Tang sect. As a result, Bai finally chose to join the Tang sect, and took out 10,000 gold soul coins to return to Yang Wudi. Saying that the debt owed by the Min clan to the Po clan over the years had been settled, Yang Wudi was so angry that he turned around and left after returning to Xiandao City and leaving the mansion of the Li clan with a few clansmen. He originally planned to go directly back to the Douluo Empire, but before leaving, Yang Wudi suddenly thought of the place where rare medicinal herbs grew that Lin Rong had mentioned to him, so Yang Wudi asked a few tribesmen to find a place to stay first, and he went to see what rare herbs Lin Rong had picked. When did that ungrateful old white bird become so generous? Where did he get the money? Yang Wudi complained while eating hot pot. Where did the money come from? Of course I gave it to him. Lin Rong silently complained in his heart. I bought a crystal blood dragon ginseng with 1 million gold soul coins. That old fellow Bai, he became rich overnight, so he must be very generous, but this cannot be said in front of Yang Wudi. Now, Tang San has subdued the 3 tribes of strength, defense, and agility, and his power has greatly increased, but it is far from enough to fight against Jinriksu. Tang San needs time to build the Tang sect, and Lin Rong also needs time to develop his power. When the time is right, he will guide the fight between Tang San and Jinriksu so that he can reap the benefits. After Lin Rong finished thinking about what was in his mind, he looked at Yang Wudi, who was eating hot pot, and the desire to recruit him arose in his heart again. Since Yang Wudi has severed his friendship with Bai, Lin Rong has nothing to worry about, but right now, there is still a lack of a suitable opportunity. Lin Rong has the Yaoxiang Kilo Fairy item in his hand, which can make the medicine fanatic Yang Wudi surrender, but if he wants to make the martial arts fanatic Yang Wudi surrender, he still lacks a lot of strength. Therefore, this matter can only be discussed later after eating a hot pot. Yang Wudi asked Lin Rong for a quiet room to start refining medicine. The medicine maniac is worthy of being called a medicine maniac. His efficiency in refining medicine is extremely high. He started refining medicine at noon that day, and by the evening of the next day, he had finished refining the elixir, which was mainly made of 9th grade dragon fungus and supplemented with a lot of rare herbs purchased from his own pocket. This pill is called Longyun Xianxi pill. It is a top-grade pill with a wide range of effects. Yang Wudi took out a jade bottle and took out a 2-color pill of milky white and light gold. He introduced it. It also has many benefits, such as improving aptitude, cleansing the marrow and removing hair, and increasing soul power. The lower the aptitude and the younger the age, the better the effect of the Dragon Rhyme Immortal Ganoderma pill in improving aptitude and cleansing the marrow and removing hair will be. The older you are, the higher your aptitude is. The Dragon Rhyme Immortal Ganoderma pill has limited improvement in this aspect, and most of the medicinal power will be used to improve soul power. This pill has drug resistance. A person can only take 3 pills at most. At the same time, the efficacy of each additional pill of Longyun Xianxi pill will be reduced by half. In addition, the Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pill has a miraculous effect on promoting the evolution of the Dragon Martial Soul. The lower the quality of the Dragon Martial Soul, the better the effect. Finally, the effect of the Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pill in increasing soul power is more significant for soul masters below level 50. After level 50, the soul power increases better than nothing, which is a drop in the bucket. This time, I refined a total of 12 pills. They're all here. Please count them. Lin Rong took the jade bottle, smelled the unique fragrance of the elixir, and couldn't help but sigh that alchemy is really a great skill. Although this Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pill can only increase his soul power, what he lacks most at the moment is the level of soul power. Therefore, Longyun Xianxi pill is quite useful to Lin Rong. After Yang Wudi handed the pill to Lin Rong, he stood up and said goodbye. Seeing this, Lin Rong politely tried to persuade them to stay, but Yang Wudi bluntly said that they could not let those clansmen wait in Xiandao City for too long and rejected his request. Lin Rong didn't care. He was just being polite and didn't really want Yang Wudi to stay overnight. Lin Rong was really worried about having a soul Douluo who was not loyal to him living in his home, and he didn't feel safe at all. So Lin Rong looked down at the jade bottle and thought, the Dragon Rhyme Immortal Ganoderma pill smells pretty good, but I don't know how it tastes like. Does it taste like candy beans? Well, I'll try eating one later. End of this chapter. Chapter 43, Fuji Dragon Awakens. Winter goes and spring comes, and 3 months have passed in a flash. It's early spring again. The rain is getting heavier and the waking of insects is coming on that rainy spring night. 8 years ago, Lin Rong was born into this world in the blink of an eye. 8 years have passed. Deep in the manor, in front of the old wooden house, Lin Rong looked up at the newly sprouted buds on the branches of the banyan tree, reached out and broke off a green branch and stuck it into the soil. Pure life force flowed from the body of the banyan tree into the green branch, causing it to take root and sprout, and it turned from a banyan branch into a banyan sapling. Looking down at the masterpiece in front of him and admiring it for a moment, Lin Rong withdrew the vitality he had injected into the green branch, turning it from a banyan sapling back into a green branch. Then he used his mental power to control the green branch and connected it back to its original position. There was no connection between the green branch and the banyan tree, as if everything that had just happened had never happened. It has been 2 years since I awakened my martial spirit. I am no longer the helpless child I was 2 years ago. Lin Rong murmured to himself as the 9-bend vine dragon appeared silently behind him, and a group of banyan tree roots took root in the void. Yellow, yellow, purple. 3 soul rings appeared rhythmically under Lin Rong's feet in sequence, demonstrating the cultivation level of the 3-ring soul master. The first soul ring was taken from the 1,000-leaf banyan tree from the year 525. The second soul ring was taken from the caulking bamboo of the 981st year. The third soul ring, which serves as a link between the preceding and following soul rings, was taken from the 3,333-year-old azure ivy. The 9-bend vine dragon martial soul is a fusion of the dragon soul vine and the 1,000-leaf banyan. Now, after absorbing the 1,000-leaf banyan and the azure ivy, the soul beast from his previous life that was mutated from the dragon soul vine, the 9-bend vine dragon, has finally fully awakened. Because of absorbing Kong King Zhu's soul ring, the 9-curved vine dragon gained the characteristics of space. The banyan trees in the forest disappeared into the void, leaving only the banyan trees themselves in the outside world. Looking at the banyan tree itself, the bark texture, and the veins of the leaves all emit a barely perceptible light golden glow. If you look closely, you will find that there are faint golden threads flowing in the texture of the banyan tree bark and the veins of its leaves. These golden threads flow through every part of the banyan tree, adding an invisible sense of nobility and holiness. The main root of the banyan tree, which looked like a real dragon and was wrapped around the trunk of the banyan tree, was no longer motionlessly wrapped around the trunk. Instead, it seemed to wake up from a deep sleep, opened its closed dragon eyes, and swam around on the banyan tree. There was a lively look in the eyes of the blue real dragon, which was 70% similar to the look in Lin Rong's own eyes. This is an independent new consciousness born from the 9-curved vine dragon martial spirit based on Lin Rong's own consciousness. The consciousness of the 9-curved vine dragon was born because of Lin Rong, so it is completely controlled by Lin Rong's own consciousness. It is equivalent to an incarnation with its own independent thoughts, but Lin Rong can take control of the incarnation at any time as long as he is willing simultaneously. Because the 9-curved vine dragon was fully awakened, the innate talent field of the martial soul also evolved to the second stage ahead of schedule within the coverage area of the vine dragon domain. All your attributes will be increased by 20%, while all the enemy's attributes will be reduced by 20%. The domain-exclusive effect Life Dragon Soul has been strengthened, greatly increasing the speed of converting attacks into pure vitality, which is more than 10 times the original conversion speed. And awaken the domain soul skill, destroying evil dragon roar, arranged soul and spirit skill. The negative effects on all targets within the range are instantly removed upon release, and the soul and spirit shock is caused to the designated target. The attack intensity of soul shock and mental impact depends on the strength of Lin Rong's own soul and mental power, as well as the soul and mental power strength of the target. Lin Rong was a little dissatisfied with the domain soul skill Evil Breaking Dragon Roar. It would be perfect if the soul skill could specifically remove the negative effects on the target the moment it is released, instead of removing all negative effects without distinguishing between friend and foe compared to the slightly flawed domain soul skills. The soul skills attached to the third soul ring are perfect and impeccable. Lin Rong's third soul skill is called King Yao Kingshan, which is an all-attribute amplification soul skill. The increase is 30%, and each additional soul ring will increase the power by an additional 10%. Lin Rong now has 3 soul rings. After performing the third soul skill King Yao Kingshan, all of his attributes will increase by 60%. After reaching the level of title Douluo and possessing 9 spirit rings, the increase can reach an extremely astonishing 120%. As for soul power consumption, although it is not as close to 0 as the first soul skill Dragon Soul Awakening, it is still within the range that Lin Rong can accept. The third soul skill, King Yao Kingshan, consumes a fixed amount of soul power by 10% for every minute it is maintained after being cast, putting aside all other factors. When Lin Rong was at full soul power, he used his third soul skill for 10 minutes after putting away his martial spirit. Lin Rong took out a jade bottle. Originally there were 12 Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pills in it, but now there were only 9 left. The 3 missing pills were naturally swallowed by Lin Rong because of his strong soul power. The soul power required to upgrade each level is much more than that of an ordinary soul master. In addition, Longyuan Xian Suhidan has drug resistance, and the potency will be halved with each additional pill taken. Even if you swallow 3 pills in a row, the medicinal strength is only equivalent to 1.75 pills of Longyuan Xian Suhidan. Therefore, the 3 Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pills that Lin Rong took only increased his soul power by 3 levels 3 months ago. Lin Rong's soul power was level 27, and after 3 months of practice, his soul power has increased by a little more than 1 level. Therefore, after absorbing the 3,333-year-old Azure Ivy Soul Ring, Lin Rong's soul power directly reached level 34, a level 34 soul master at the age of 8. This record could probably only be broken by other travelers from a parallel universe. There are now 9 Longyuan Xian Suhi pills left. 3 of them must be given to Ma Hongjun, but they cannot be given to him directly, nor can they be given to him too early. Shengming, fight against me. Ma Hongjun is not even 9 years old yet and has not formed habits for many things. If you give him all the good things directly, it will easily make him develop a habit of getting things for nothing and taking whatever he wants. These qualities are not what a qualified sharp blade should possess. The earlier the Phoenix Celosia is absorbed, the better the effect, so it was given. But Longyuan Xian Suhi pill is different. It is effective for Ma Hongjun when he takes it before he reaches level 50. Therefore, in order to give these 3 Dragon Rhythm Immortal Ganoderma pills to Ma Hongjun, they must be given to him as a reward after he completes the task, and that mission is the key to Lin Rong's successful seizure of the throne of the Sky Dou Empire, and failure is absolutely not allowed. Ma Hongjun was the chief executor of the mission, and Su Pan followed Ma Hongjun as his deputy. Lin Rong could feel at ease only because Su Pan, the captain of the guards who was loyal to the Lin family, was by Ma Hongjun's side and constantly instilled in him the idea of loyalty to the Lin family. End of this chapter. Chapter 44 Gladiolus. In the end, there will be 6 Longyuan Xian Suhi pills left, but for a while, Lin Rong couldn't find a suitable candidate. Having a treasure in hand but not knowing who to give it to is really a happy trouble. In that case, it's better to keep it for now. It won't be too late to decide later depending on the situation. Putting away the jade bottle, Lin Rong looked towards the direction of the Sunset Forest. I received a message from the secret guard half a day ago. Tang San and his party left Xiandao City early this morning and headed towards the Sunset Forest. If Lin Rong's guess was correct, Tang San's spirit power should have broken through to level 20, and this time he left the city to go to the Sunset Forest to hunt for the second spirit ring. In the original novel, the first time Tang San entered the Sunset Forest, he was abducted by Dugubo, and thus discovered the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire and used the magical herbs there to create a peerless team. This time, Tang San walked into the Sunset Forest by himself. Moreover, all the herbs in Binghuo Liangai's eyes had been dug up by Lin Rong along with the roots and soil. Not even a hair was left. Even if Tang San could accidentally meet Dugubo and successfully help him detoxify, after entering the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, he could only see the extremely cold and blazing sun twin springs that were still in the recovery period, and could not get any substantial benefits except for the news from Tang San. There is also new news from Nottingham. It seems that the master Yu Zaigang left not in college for some reason. According to the information from the secret guards, the direction Yu Zaigang was heading seemed to be the Soto city of the Bara Kingdom, and Shrek Academy is near Soto city. This made Lin Rong have some guesses in his mind. Could it be that after waiting for so many years, he still hasn't found a test subject as excellent as Tang San? So he can't wait any longer and wants to go to Shrek Academy to give it a try, see if Shrek has any qualified test subjects that can verify his Yu Zaigang theory. If Yu Zaigang really thought so, the facts would disappoint him greatly because, to this day, there is still only one student in Shrek Academy, Oscar. In terms of talent alone, Oscar definitely meets Yu Zaiagang's requirements, but unfortunately, Oscar is a food-type soul master, not a combat soul master. This alone would be enough to kill Yu Zaiagang's plan. Not to mention, Oscar is Xiaozin's disciple. Given Xiaozin's personality, it is impossible for him to give Oscar, his direct disciple, to anyone else. Same news from Nottingham. Yu Zaigang has changed, but Tang Ha remains the same as before. According to the bribed villagers, He stayed in the house all day drinking and rarely took on even the blacksmithing work, and he would disappear for a day or two from time to time, and no one knew where he went. This news gave Lin Rong a headache. Tang Hao would go behind the waterfall to visit his wife from time to time, which made it difficult for him to find the opportunity to steal the soul bone from behind the waterfall. In fact, if Lin Rong did not interfere with Tang San's growth trajectory, then when Tang Sanson goes to Shrek Academy at the age of 2, it will be a perfect opportunity to steal soul bones. But in order to seize the throne of Xiaotian, Lin Rong must speed up Tang San's growth so that Tang San will be qualified to fight Jin Ringsu in advance. Therefore, interfering with Tang San's growth trajectory is something that must be done. As for the 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor soul bone, there are still other opportunities to steal it, but someone needs to keep an eye on Tang Hao's whereabouts. Sunset Forest. Tang San and his group of 4 were walking in the forest except Tang San. The other 3 are Tang San's little follower Tai Long, Tai Tan's son Tian Yuo, and Nia Gao's son Niu Ben. Tianyo and Niu Ben are both soul kings. One is good at strength and the other is good at defense. When the two work together, they are fully capable of protecting Tang San and obtaining his second soul ring. As for Tai Long, as a qualified follower, he naturally has to be with Tang San all the time. Of the 3 clans that have surrendered to the Tang clan, only the Min clan had no members in this team. It's not that Bai he was reluctant to send people. Among the 3 tribes, he was the one who was most eager to get closer to Tang San. The tribesman sent by Bai he was none other than his granddaughter Bai Chengxiang, who had just turned 6 years old. With Tang Yuhua's guidance, Tang San is no longer a social novice. Seeing Bai he doing this, it was clear what Bai he was thinking, so he refused very tactfully. She is just a cousin who has no connection with him at all. In Tang San's heart, her importance is not as important as a silent sleeve arrow. Moreover, Tang San, who always prided himself on being pure, could not possibly lay a hand on a 6-year-old girl. The group walked until noon and found a place to rest by a stream. After a while, Tang San took the roasted rabbit meat from Tai Long and tasted it, then praised, "Not bad, your cooking skills have improved. Although it's not as good as the spicy rabbit head made by my aunt, it's pretty good compared to the one you burnt last time." After hearing this, Tai Long smiled innocently and replied, "Thank you for the compliment, young master. It is a blessing for the rabbit meat to be praised by you." Tang San was very pleased to hear this, but he was a little confused. Ever since his aunt Tang Yuho received a letter from his father one day, she often made spicy rabbit heads for him. Strangely enough, after Tang San tasted the spicy rabbit head, he became addicted to it. Tang San has his own explanation for this. People in Sichuan and Shu have loved spicy food since ancient times. Maybe this is the taste of home. After resting for a while, the group continued to search for suitable soul beasts in the Sunset Forest. Tang San's goal for his second soul ring is that it cannot be less than 700 years old. As for the type of soul beast, it would be best if it is a high-quality plant soul beast. His first soul ring was taken from a black bamboo that was more than 400 years old. After absorbing the black bamboo soul ring, the blue-silver grass not only became tougher, but also inherited the sharpness of the leaves. Combined with Tang San's own skills, it can be used as a hidden weapon, but a sharpness bestowed by the 400-year-old black bamboo spirit ring is far from enough. Therefore, in terms of choosing a second soul ring, Tang San, in addition to choosing a high-quality plant soul beast with a cultivation base of no less than 700 years, is also more inclined to choose a plant soul beast that can make the blue-silver grass sharper. However, this kind of soul beast is often hard to come by. Even if you encounter one, the age may not be suitable. It may be too old or too young. After a few days, Tang San and his companions finally found a satisfactory soul beast target. It was a gladiolus growing in the canyon, with 7 orchid leaves. One of the orchid leaves is smaller than the others, indicating that this gladiolus has been cultivated for nearly 800 years. Gladiolus, a high-quality plant soul beast, has been cultivating for nearly 800 years and has a sharp nature. It perfectly meets Tang San's expectations for his second soul ring. Moreover, the sharpness of gladiolus is not comparable to that of black bamboo. Tang San could already imagine how the blue-silver grass would evolve after he absorbed the spirit ring of this gladiolus. End of this chapter. Chapter 45 Wind and Fire. At the same time, a basin of fire somewhere in Sunset Forest, a lion with flames burning above its neck, was running in the basin. The sound of breaking air was heard, and dozens of wind blades drew arc-shaped trajectories in the air, blocking the lion's advance path. However, just as these wind blades were about to hit, the lion's flaming mane suddenly shone, forming a ring of fire that deflected the wind blades. Opportunity. Feng's Ocean's eyes flashed, and the 4th soul ring under his feet lit up. 4th soul skill, Windblade Claw. 3 sharp blades, about 1.5 feet long, popped out from between Feng Xiaotian's finger bones, and an illusory wolf-shaped shadow emerged from behind him. Then he spread his hands to the left and right, and a green light nearly a meter long burst out from the 6 sharp blades and hit the lion. At the moment the fire ring disappeared. This lion with flames burning above its neck is called the Red Flame Lion, and its cultivation age is about 1,500 years. The Red Flame Lion possesses the innate soul skill Red Flame Fire Ring. A 10-year Red Flame Lion can only use it once a day, a 100-year Red Flame Lion can use it twice a day, and a 1,000-year Red Flame Lion can use it 3 times a day. And the Red Flame Ring just now was the last chance for this 1,000-year-old Red Flame Lion to use it today. Not only that, the Red Flame Lion had just released the Red Flame Ring and was in a brief state of stiffness after releasing the skill, unable to dodge. Therefore, the Red Flame Lion could only watch helplessly as the huge light blue wind blade hit him. The wind blade pierced through the Red Flame Lion, and there was the sound of flesh and blood being torn apart, as well as the Red Flame Lion's desperate and painful roar in midair. Feng Xiaotian looked down at the Red Flame Lion lying in a pool of blood. He folded up his illusory wings and slowly landed on the ground. He said gently to Ho Wu, who was not far away, "Xiao Wu, it's your turn, yet." Ho Wu looked at Feng Xiaotian, who was displaying his divine power, her face slightly reddened. She responded softly, stepped forward to end the life of the Red Flame Lion, and began to absorb the Red Flame Lion's soul ring. Ever since the battle in Sunset Forest 2 years ago, Feng Xiaotian seemed like a completely different person in Ho Wu's eyes. He no longer tried to please her in a servile manner, and began to practice seriously, showing an astonishing speed of practice that one should expect from someone with full innate soul power. 2 years ago, Feng Xiaotian's soul power was still at level 33, but 3 months ago, Feng Xiaotian had already broken through to level 40. At that time, Feng Xiaotian was still 1 month away from turning 18 in a period of 1 year and 8 months. His soul power broke through from level 33 to level 40, with an average cultivation speed of 4 levels per year. This made Ho Wu often sigh that the speed of cultivating innate full soul power could actually reach such an astonishing level 3 months after breaking through to the soul sect. Feng Xiaotian's soul power further improved and reached level 43. Feng Xiaotian's change aroused Ho Wu's competitive spirit, so she worked hard on her cultivation. 2 years ago, the 11-year-old Ho Wu had a soul power of level 25. In the past 2 years, Ho Wu has also broken through to level 30. The 13-year-old Soul Master has broken the historical record of Blazing Fire Academy since its establishment. Ho Wu herself is also confident that she can break through to level 40 before she turns 18, and will not be much worse than Feng Xiaotian at the age of 18. But Ho Wu also understood that starting from the age of 18, the older they got, the greater the difference in soul power between the two of them at the same age would become. 2 hours later, Feng Xiaotian saw Ho Wu wake up and hurriedly walked over to ask, "Xiao Wu, how is it? Is the soul skill as expected, beyond expectations?" Ho Wu replied with a smile, and then explained to Feng Xiaotian the effect of her third soul skill. "My third soul skill is called Resist Fire Ring. It is similar to the Red Flame Lion's Red Flame Ring. It can eject all enemies within the range of the fire ring to a certain distance. The soul skill covers a range of 60 meters in diameter and 3 meters in height. As long as the opponent's attack skill is not more than 10 levels of my own soul power, I can ignore any skills and defenses and expel them from the range of the fire ring. Moreover, my fire resistance ring is different from the Red Flame Lion's Red Flame Ring. There is no limit to the number of times it can be used. As long as the soul power is sufficient, I can use it continuously." "That's great, Xiao Wu." Feng Xiaotian congratulated Ho Wu. This fire resistance ring has a very strong control effect in the arena environment of the all-continent high-level Soul Master Elite competition. In the next competition, your Blazing Academy will surely achieve excellent results. Ho Wu nodded in agreement. Seeing Feng Xiaotian mention this, she asked, "Brother Don, will you participate in the all-continental high-level Spirit Master Elite competition next year?" Feng Xiaotian thought about it after hearing this, and finally replied, "I won't participate in next year's competition, because by that time next year, although I will have a cultivation base close to that of a Soul King, I will not be able to make up the gap between my Divine Wind Academy and the Spirit Hall Seed team with my own strength, but I will participate in the next competition in 6 years. By then, at the age of 24, I will be at least a high-level Soul King, or even a Soul Emperor. In this way, I will be able to lead the Divine Wind Academy to win the championship from the Spirit Hall and become the first team to win the championship from the Spirit Hall after the Douluo Empire. Xiao Wu, if our two schools meet on the field, I will be gentle. Having said that, Feng Xiaotian scratched his head embarrassedly. Brother Tian, you are a little too confident. Ho Wu laughed and retorted, I heard that 3 peerless geniuses appeared in the Spirit Master Academy directly under the Spirit Hall, and 2 of them even have the ability to fuse spirits. In the competition 6 years later, the 3 of them have a high chance of breaking through to Soul King. When the time comes, facing 3 Soul Kings, 2 of whom have martial soul fusion skills, Brother Dawn, are you still sure of victory? Moreover, even if you hold back those 3 Soul Kings, your future 6 teammates may not be able to defeat the remaining 4 people from the Spirit Hall. After all, in all the previous competitions, the main players of the Spirit Hall's seeded team have never had a soul master with a soul power lower than level 45. After hearing these words, Feng Xiaotian stood there in a daze. In the past 2 years, he has been obsessed with cultivation and has not asked about anything in the outside world except Ho Wu. The Spirit Hall started to build up momentum for the 3 people of the Golden Generation only a year ago. Therefore, Feng Xiaotian didn't know about the Golden Generation until Ho Wu brought up the matter. Seeing Feng Xiaotian remain silent, Ho Wu couldn't help but laugh out loud and consoled him. Don't worry, Brother Dawn, if you really want to win the championship, I can help you. After saying that, looking at Feng Xiaotian's puzzled expression, Ho Wu smiled and explained, it's actually very simple. When the time comes, I will have the main soul sect members of Blazing Fire Academy temporarily join the Divine Wind Academy. This way, your academy will be able to gather 7 main soul sect members. The Dean of Blazing Academy is my father, so this is not difficult for me. End of this chapter. Chapter 46. 3-Way Movement. Feng Xiaotian's eyes lit up when he heard this proposal, but then he thought of some concerns and asked, is this okay? Then what about your Blazing Academy competition? If all of your soul sect's main players temporarily join the Divine Wind, then Blazing Fire will have absolutely no hope of advancing to the preliminaries. It doesn't matter. Ho Wu answered casually after hearing Feng Xiaotian's concerns. In all the previous all-continental high-level Spirit Master Elite competitions, our Blazing Fire Academy has never missed the knockout round of the finals, and has never even fallen out of the top 16. It's just an absence. It won't have much impact on our Blazing Academy. Moreover, the influence of our 5 Elements Academy in each city has long been deeply rooted and cannot be shaken so easily. After Ho Wu's explanation, Feng Xiaotian finally put aside his worries and began to think about the feasibility of this plan. The next Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite competition 6 years later, among the 7 main players of the Spirit Hall seed team, the 3 from the Golden Generation are most likely Soul Kings, and the other 4 are all high-level Soul Masters above level 45. On the Shenfeng Academy's side, with the external aid of the Chihiro Academy, they can also gather 7 main forces with cultivation levels above Soul Sect. Moreover, the wind helps the fire, and the fire borrows the power of the wind. The cooperation between their 2 colleges can achieve the effect of 1 + 1 being greater than 2 by then. With a cultivation level at least close to that of a 6-ring Soul Emperor, he would not only be able to hold back the 3 people of the Golden Generation by himself, but he would also be confident that he could hold back the 2 people who possess the martial soul fusion skill. By then, the situation would be 6 against 5 among them. Ho Wu has the innate skill of melting ring. With the coordination of the power of wind and fire, and the difference in numbers, she has a great hope of defeating the opposing Soul King and 4 high-level Soul Masters in this way. Isn't the championship won? Thinking of this, Feng Xiaotian has already begun to imagine the grand scene of winning the championship in the future. Has your soul power increased to level 22? After absorbing the Sword Orchid Spirit Ring, Tang San sensed his own situation and was somewhat dissatisfied with his own cultivation speed. The Tang sect is now thriving, but it still lacks a perfect opportunity to make a name for itself throughout the continent. This reminded Tang San of the continent-wide high-level Spirit Master Elite competition jointly organized by the Xiaotian and Xingluo empires and the Spirit Hall. Tang San himself felt that there was no hope for the next competition next year, but in the next competition 6 years later, he, who will be 14 years old, may be able to achieve good results in the competition and make the Tang sect famous. If they could win the championship, they could let all the influential forces on the continent know that the winner is the leader of the Tang sect, and it would also be a severe slap in the face of the Spirit Hall. However, According to his current training speed, his soul power would be at most around level 45. In 6 years the Spirit Hall has been able to dominate so many competitions, so it must have its own unique features. Tang San would not underestimate the Spirit Hall because of his hatred for them, and he also knew the current situation of the Xiandao Royal Spirit Master Academy. He didn't think that he could defeat the Spirit Hall's seed team with only level 45 spirit power while bringing 6 burdens with him unless the competition rules were changed to allow the use of external forces other than martial spirits. His hidden weapons would have a place to be used. It seems that it is time to use external force to open up the 8 extraordinary meridians. Nowadays, there is no shortage of resources and medicinal baths. Even if you fail to open up your meridians and injure yourself, you can recover quickly without leaving any hidden dangers. 7. Treasure Glazed Tile Sect. Ning Fengzi took out a piece of head soul bone and handed it to Ning Rongrong, saying, "Rongrong, this head soul bone was dropped by Uncle Gu when he hunted a 60,000-year-old mirror shadow beast in the far north not long ago. Hurry up and absorb it. With the soul power provided by this soul bone, Father believes that you will be able to break through to level 30 after absorbing it." After 2 years of education, Ning Rongrong's personality and temperament have undergone amazing changes at this moment. She listened to these words and didn't say much. Instead, she took the head soul bone that was more than 60,000 years old very obediently, and immediately sat down on the spot and began to absorb it. As early as 5 months ago, Ning Rongrong absorbed the piece of torso soul bone. The trunk bone came from a diamond unicorn that was more than 50,000 years old. The huge amount of soul power remaining in the torso soul bone directly raised Ning Rongrong, whose soul power was only level 16 at the time, to level 20, and there was still a large amount of soul power left afterwards. Ning Rongrong absorbed an emerald demon bird soul ring that was more than 800 years old. The soul power added by the soul ring and the remaining soul power absorbed by the soul bone made Ning Rongrong's soul power soar to level 25. In an instant, as expected, the shadow of the 8th floor of the Wuhan 7 Treasures Glazed Tower also became much more solid. Ning Fengzi was very excited when he saw the significant results. He even sent the 2 titled Douluo, Jian and Gu, to take turns to go to the Soul Beast Forest to slaughter the 10,000-year soul beasts. It was only to allow Ning Rongrong to absorb soul bones to quickly increase his soul power, so that he could see the evolved 9 Treasures Glazed Tower as soon as possible. However, the large-scale slaughter of soul beasts is against the harmony of nature, and the Spirit Hall has also expressly prohibited such a thing from happening. Therefore, Ning Fengzi could only let the 2 titled Douluo, Jian and Gu do it quietly, and choose some soul beast forests where few people go, and try not to attract attention. If anyone notices, kill them without mercy, because the higher the soul beast's cultivation level, the greater the probability of dropping soul bones. Therefore, both titled Douluo, Jian and Gu chose to attack soul beasts with a cultivation base of more than 50,000 years and whose species were suitable for the 7 Treasures Glazed Tower. Soul beasts over 50,000 years old are rare to begin with, and 50,000-year-old soul beasts of the type that match the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda are even rarer. In the past 2 years, only more than 20 soul beasts that met the requirements were slaughtered, and only 2 soul bones were dropped: a 50,000-year-old diamond unicorn torso bone and a 60,000-year-old mirror beast head soul bone. Ning Fengzi decided to stop while he was ahead. After getting the second soul bone, he asked the 2 titled Douluo to stop while waiting for his daughter to absorb the soul bone. Ning Fengzi looked at the huge flower disc beside him. A dying flower is planted in the flower pot, and its petals are crystal clear red, as dazzling as a flawless ruby. This is exactly the 3rd soul ring that Ning Fengzi prepared for Ning Rongrong, a 2,500-year-old ruby sunflower, which can provide the 7 Treasures Glazed Tower with a soul skill that increases soul power. Gem-type soul beasts are rare, and gem-type soul beasts that can provide soul power-enhancing soul skills are even rarer. Ning Fengzi started asking people to look for this ruby sunflower 2 years ago. But it was not until 3 months ago that such a ruby sunflower was found. Although more than 2,500 years exceeds the limit of a normal 3rd soul ring, but when my daughter absorbs this soul ring, she will have 2 soul bones that are more than 50,000 years old in her body. So there will be no problem. The only possible problem is whether the shadow of the 8th floor of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tower can be completely solidified after his daughter absorbs the soul ring of the ruby sunflower. End of this chapter. Chapter 47, Coming Out of Seclusion. If absorbing the 3rd soul ring still fails to allow the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda to evolve into the 8 Treasures Glazed Pagoda, then one can only place hope on the 4th soul ring. In the past 2 years, Ning Fengzi not only sent the two titled Douluo Jian and Gu to hunt soul beasts in turn, but also sent people to find the gem-type soul beasts that Ning Rongrong would need in the future in addition to the 800-year-old emerald demon bird that Ning Rongrong has already absorbed. There is also the 2,500-year-old ruby sunflower that she is about to absorb. The Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect also captured a white jade tortoise that was over 7,000 years old, which served as Ning Rongrong's fourth soul ring and provided a defense-enhancing soul skill as for the 10,000-year soul beasts required for the fifth ring and above. It is not difficult for the Seven Treasures Glazed sect to capture them alive, however. Because soul beasts' intelligence increases greatly after their cultivation reaches a breakthrough of 10,000 years, and because most soul beasts are naturally arrogant, it is extremely difficult to keep them in captivity. Therefore, Ning Fengzi simply asked people to note down the activity areas of suitable target soul beasts, and then go directly to that area to hunt them when needed in the future. Diamond, emerald, ruby, and white jade. These are the gems represented by the four soul beasts. The soul rings produced by this type of soul beast will provide the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda with 4 attribute enhancements: strength, agility, soul power, and defense if that time really came. Even if Ning Rongrong absorbed the soul ring of the white jade turtle, she would not be able to completely solidify the shadow of the 8th floor of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tower. Well, even if Ning Fengzi had to sacrifice his daughter's 5th soul skill, which was not an attack amplification skill, he would definitely find a gem-type soul beast soul ring representing Liuli for his daughter to absorb. Although glass is a precious gem, it is fragile. Therefore, the gem-type soul beast representing glass does not match the 6 types of increases in strength, agility, soul power, defense, attack, and attributes required by the first 6 soul skills of the Seven Treasures Glass Pagoda. However, the attributes of this type of soul beast are very compatible with the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda, and it is the best choice for the 7th soul ring Martial Soul Avatar. It's just that the gemstone spirit rings representing Liuli are extremely rare, and the age of the 7th spirit ring cannot be less than 30,000 years. Therefore, the leaders of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect in all generations have never had the honor of absorbing this kind of soul beast as their own martial soul. However, not long ago, when Douluo was looking for a suitable target, he met a 40,000-year-old glass gem-type soul beast. Douluo knew that this soul beast was extremely suitable to be Ning Rongrong's 7th soul ring. In addition, its cultivation had not exceeded 50,000 years, so he did not attack it, but instead noted its range of activities. When Ning Fengzi obtained the 60,000-year-old mirror shadow beast's head soul bone, he also learned this news from Douluo. This made Ning Fengzi overjoyed. In the Sunset Forest, there is an agate unicorn that is over 15,000 years old. It represents the gem agate and can provide attack-enhancing soul skills. In the Xingdao Great Forest, there is a 32,000-year-old green water clam, which represents a gem pearl and can provide attribute-enhancing soul skills. In addition, the 47,000-year-old glazed snow crystal deer in the far north represents the gemstone glazed and can serve as the martial spirit avatar of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tower. In this way, all the soul beasts needed for his daughter's first 7 soul rings have been found. Just as Ning Fengzi was thinking about the goals of his daughter's 8th and 9th soul rings, Ning Rongrong had already absorbed the soul bone and woke up in mid-March. Grain rain comes in the early morning. There was a drizzle and a thin mist in the manor. It is now the last month of spring, March, and in just over half a month it will be the beginning of summer. The old housekeeper Yu Yuan has been in seclusion since the end of autumn and the beginning of winter last year. And it has been nearly half a year now. On this day, a door deep inside the manor suddenly opened, and a ruddy-faced old man in a black robe walked out. The old man in the black robe showed a rare look of joy, feeling the vast and majestic soul power in his body like the ocean, and was quite emotional. It took me half a year, but I finally broke through the 90th level barrier with the help of the remaining magical herbs in my body. Only those with innate full soul power can ignore the bottleneck between level 89 and level 90. Below the innate full soul power, it is extremely difficult to break through this bottleneck. With my innate soul power of level 8.5, if I didn't have the immortal herbs given by the young master, the probability of me breaking through this bottleneck by myself would not exceed 30%. In today's era, most people's understanding and development of the Soul Master training system is still limited to meditation, soul rings, soul bones and self-created soul skills. The external development of herbs, secret recipes, etc. is extremely limited. Therefore, It is the common knowledge of most soul masters absorbing soul bones to improve qualifications and thus increase the probability of breaking through the level 90 bottleneck is the best and only way. As for the two matters of immortal herbs and the assessment by the gods, very few people know about them, and even if they knew, it would be of no use. Fairy great medicinal herbs are extremely rare in the world and can only be seen once in 1,000 years. The assessment by gods is a double-edged sword. If the assessee fails the assessment, there is only one way out, which is death. Moreover, there is a very high threshold to become an assessee. Let's talk about soul bones. If you want to increase the probability of breaking through from level 89 to level 90, the age of the soul bone must be at least 10,000 years. The older and higher the quality of the soul bone, the greater the help in breaking through the bottleneck of level 90. This is why soul bones are so precious. It's not just because soul bones can provide additional soul skills, but also because absorbing soul bones can improve aptitude, allowing those who absorb soul bones to hopefully cultivate to a higher level after breaking through to level 90. The old butler's worry no longer existed as the hereditary dukes of Xiandao. The Lin family naturally has soul bones passed down from generation to generation, and there are 3 of them, namely, a right arm bone about 12,000 years old, a skull about 14,000 years old, and a torso bone about 15,000 years old. These 3 soul bones, together with a top-level plant-type martial soul dragon soul vine, which has at least level 5 companion soul power, allow every generation of dukes in the Lin family to cultivate to the level of soul Douluo originally. These 3 soul bones were absorbed by Lin Rong's grandfather after the old duke passed away. These 3 soul bones had not yet been absorbed by Lin Rong's father because he was buried in the beast tide and never had the chance to be absorbed again. Now, these 3 soul bones are on the green dragon vine on Lin Rong's wrist. Lin Rong was taken care of by the old butler since he was a child, so the old butler knew that his young master was very arrogant and looked down on the 3 soul bones inherited from the family. The old butler was worried that if he could not break through the bottleneck of level 90 in the future, the young master would ask him to absorb the 3 10,000-year soul bones to break through this bottleneck. Not to mention how many years these 3 soul bones have been passed down in the Lin family. These 3 soul bones alone have been absorbed by the old master in the old butler's mind. These 3 soul bones are part of the old master. So naturally he is unwilling to absorb these 3 soul bones, even though he knew that after absorbing these 3 10,000-year soul bones, the probability of breaking through the level 90 bottleneck would increase by about 30%. But this is a matter of principle, and the old butler asked himself if he could ever do it. Here is a little science. Before Burmese jade was introduced to China, jadeite, one of the 4 famous jades, referred to the feathers of kingfishers. End of this chapter. Chapter 48, The Eve of Departure. In fact, Lin Rong himself was also quite worried about how to deal with the 3 soul bones inherited from his family. The 3 10,000-year-old soul bones inherited in the family are only a little over 10,000 years old. The oldest torso bone is only about 15,000 years old, which is still nearly 5,000 years away from 20,000 years old as a time traveler. Not to mention that all 6 soul bones in the body must be 100,000 years old, but it must not be less than 50,000 years. Take a look at the 3 great inheritors of the gods in the original novel. Tang San's skull, which is the weakest piece of wisdom skull in his body and condenses his spirit, is at least 50,000 years old. It is also fused with the heart of the sea god, making it stronger than the average 100,000-year soul bone. Jin Ringsu had 6 pieces of angel armor, each lasting 99,999 years, which she obtained from the same kind of soul beast. If the whole set was absorbed together, it would be no worse than 100,000-year soul bone. BB Dong. Soul bone information is unknown, but BB Dong has 300,000-year spirit rings, of which the 9th spirit ring of the Death Spider Emperor martial spirit was taken from a 100,000-year-old Death Spider Emperor, and 200,000-year-old arm bones also dropped. In other words, BB Dong has at least 400,000-year soul bones. Then there are still 2 soul bones missing whose ages are unknown. Moreover, BB Dong has always believed in the idea of better to have more than enough and has been reluctant to fill the spirit ring slot of her 2nd spirit, the soul-devouring Spider Emperor. Just to pursue a better choice, therefore, the remaining 2 soul bones that are not limited to 1 year cannot be less than 50,000 years. After making this comparison, let's take a look at the 3 soul bones inherited from my family. It's only a little over 10,000 years old, and the quality is just average. I really don't have any desire to absorb it. Moreover, these 3 soul bones have been passed down in the Lin family for so long. Even if Lin Rong looks down on them, it would not be good to let outsiders absorb them. Although the old butler is not an outsider in Lin Rong's heart, He would not choose to let the old butler absorb these 3 soul bones because Lin Rong wanted the old butler to absorb better things. The 6 soul bones in different positions are in the following order of preciousness: trunk bones, skull, right arm bones, left arm bones, left leg bones, right leg bones. As the 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king will become the old butler's 9th soul ring in the near future, its dropped soul bone will naturally be fixed on the most precious torso bone. As for the skull soul bone, the wisdom skull that condenses the spirit and is one of the champion prizes in the next Continental Advanced Soul Master Elite competition 6 years later, will be a very good one in this way. Of the 3 soul bones inherited from the family, only the right arm bone, located in the 3rd most precious position, has no clear target to be given to the old butler. The 3,000-year-old soul bones inherited from the family cannot be given to outsiders, nor can they be given to close associates. They are really useless, wasting the precious positions in the top 3 soul bones, and can only be collected in the soul guide device to gather dust. Manor restaurant. Lin Rong couldn't help but smile as he looked at the old housekeeper who was busy running around as soon as he came out of confinement. It feels so good to have the old butler around, and I feel at ease. After the old housekeeper finished his work, he looked at Lin Rong and said, "I haven't congratulated the young master yet. In just half a year, he has cultivated from a 27th level Great Soul Master to a 35th level Soul Master. Young Master is truly a genius that this old slave has never seen in his life. It's nothing, just took 3 pills of this stuff." Lin Rong took out a jade bottle containing the Longyang Xianxi pill and showed it to the old housekeeper, saying, "The elixir made from the 9th grade dragon Ganoderma and the herbs collected by Yang Wudi himself has a good effect, although for me it only has the effect of increasing my soul power without any side effects." As he spoke, Lin Rong explained to the old housekeeper the specific medicinal effects of Longyang Xianxi pill. The old butler had previously discovered the strength of the Po Yi clan in alchemy from the herb illustrations treasured by the Po Yi clan. Therefore, the old butler did not show any surprise after hearing about the effect of the Longyang Xianxi pill, but felt that the Po Yi clan was more worthy of the young master to recruit in this way. The rare herbs they obtained from the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire can maximize their effects. But the old butler did not ask Lin Rong how he planned to treat the Po Yi clan because, for some things the master has already decided, the servant does not need to ask. And for things the master has not made a decision, the servants should not say too much. "Grandpa, you just came out of retreat. Rest for a few days first, and then we will set out to the far north to obtain the 9th soul ring for you." Lin Rong walked to the old butler, leaned on his shoulder, and said with the rare innocence of an 8-year-old child, "During the past 6 months of your seclusion, there was not even a single person to talk to me in this huge manner. Besides eating and sleeping, the only thing I do every day is practice to pass the time. I'm almost bored to death, so, these few days, I will not take care of the cultivation matters, and Grandpa, you should not take care of the miscellaneous matters in the mansion. You've already let it go for half a year, so it won't hurt to let it go for a few more days." The old housekeeper looked at Lin Rong's expression, smiled helplessly, and replied, "Young master, since you said so, can this old slave still refuse?" During these few days of relaxation and rest, the old butler also began to prepare the things he would need to bring to the far north. Many items such as maps, dry food, warm clothes, etc. need to be counted one by one by the old butler. Lin Rong sat aside, looking at the crystal blood dragon ginseng planted in the flower pot in front of him as the key to this plan. After absorbing this oil brought back from the yin-yang eye of ice and fire in the past 6 months, the crystal blood dragon ginseng has grown from over 5,000 years old to over 7,000 years old now. This oil that absorbed the energy of the extremely cold and blazing sun twin springs only consumed less than 30% of it. The remaining 70% of this oil was enough to nourish the crystal blood dragon ginseng for the remaining 3,000 years. The 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king and the crystal blood dragon ginseng, one is the king of ginseng, and the other is the empress of ginseng. When one of them appears near the other, they will be attracted to each other. Therefore, as long as Lin Rong has the crystal blood dragon ginseng in his hand, he can lure it out from the far north where the 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king lurks as a magical fairy herb. The 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king has a lot of cultivation but does not have the corresponding power. Therefore, A 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king does not possess the powerful strength to rival a tidal Douluo like a 100,000-year-old soul beast. The only thing that needs to be guarded against is the earth escape technique that the 10,000-year 9th-grade ginseng king is extremely proficient in, but Lin Rong was not too worried about this because the old butler's martial soul, the Sky Star Plate, has an extremely strong control effect. Several of its soul skills are very effective in restraining the earth escape technique of the 10,000-year 9th-rank ginseng king. Plus, just in case, Lin Rong also specially used more than 40,000 dragon whisker needles to create a golden spherical cage within the coverage of the heart mirror, using mental power to interfere with the power of reality. However, the earth escape technique is ineffective against objects made of pure gold. Therefore, as long as the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king appears within the coverage of his heart mirror, it will be unable to escape. Regarding Bibi Dong's soul ring, Bibi Dong's first martial spirit, the Death Spider Emperor's spirit ring, is yellow, purple, 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 black, 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 red. 1 yellow, 3 purple, 4 black and 1 red. This is undisputed. The second spirit, Soul Devouring Spider Emperor, when Tang Sam first faced Bibi Dong, his spirit ring was black, 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 red, red. 5 black and 2 red. One of the 100,000-year soul rings belongs to Xiao Wu's mother, and the other one is unknown. But when Tang Sam faced Bibi Dong for the second time, his spirit ring became black, 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 red, black, black. 6 black, 1 red and 2 black. This situation was either due to typo by the original author or due to the test by Rakshasa God. Because Bibi Dong did not successfully hunt down Duming and Erming, she did not meet the test standards, and the reward for the 6th soul ring was reduced by 50,000 years. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, The King of Ginseng. North of the northern end of the Sky Dou Empire is called the Far North, that is an endless land of ice and snow. What people have explored so far is only the tip of the iceberg. It is a veritable forbidden area of life and death at the outermost edge of the far north. There are dozens of coniferous forests covered with snow. In these coniferous forests, there live a large number of soul beasts with icy attributes, and it can be regarded as a gathering place for soul beasts. Although the trees in the forest are evergreen coniferous forests, it is cold and snowy here, and the forest trees are covered with a thick layer of white snow. Looking around, everything is covered in silver and white snow, without any trace of the vibrant green of the forest. Therefore, these coniferous forests of varying sizes are called frozen forests. The frozen forest is sparsely populated and has a harsh climate. Apart from soul masters with ice attribute martial spirits who choose to come here to obtain spirit rings, very few soul masters with other attributes come here. Is this the largest frozen forest in the northern border of the empire? In the midst of the wind and snow, Lin Rong stood at the edge of a forest, with an illusory green dragon shadow wrapped around him, isolating him from the severe cold and wind and snow outside. Behind Lin Rong, the old butler unfolded the map to check and replied, "There are a total of 37 frozen forests of varying sizes in the northern border of the empire. According to records and books, this frozen forest in front of us is undoubtedly the largest. If the 10,000 years 9th grade ginseng king is really in a frozen forest in the far north, then the probability of it appearing in this frozen forest before our eyes is the highest." Lin Rong nodded and entered the forest with the old butler, intending to find a place to rest first. A quarter of an hour later, in a cave somewhere, 12 pots of scorching sunflowers were arranged in a circle in the cave. These 12 pots of blazing sunflowers are one of the many rare and precious herbs in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Not only can this herb be used as medicine, it can also release heat energy continuously, making it a natural treasure for keeping out the cold in the cave. The 12 sunflowers in the 12 flower pots were like little suns, emitting blazing light and dispelling the severe cold. It's convenient to have more treasures in hand. Lin Rong sighed as he put away the 6 pots of sunflowers, because after only a short while, the temperature in the cave had changed from cold to somewhat warm. When half of the sunflowers were collected, the temperature in the cave finally remained within a comfortable range. The illusory green dragon shadow on Lin Rong's body had also disappeared. Since he didn't need to isolate himself from the severe cold, there was no need for him to continue using the dragon soul to protect himself. After all, Maintaining this skill required constant consumption of soul power before starting to seduce the 10,000-year-old ninth-grade ginseng king. Both he and the old butler needed to recover to their best condition somewhere deep underground in the frozen forest. In the cave, on top of the rock, lay a ginseng about 1 foot and 8 inches long. This ginseng is very similar to the crystal blood dragon ginseng. The ginseng skin is equally crystal clear. Even someone who doesn't know the value of the ginseng can tell at a glance that this ginseng is extraordinary, but the difference is that the crystal blood dragon ginseng is crystal clear blood red, while this ginseng is crystal clear emerald green, like a flawless jade. Like the crystal blood dragon ginseng, this ginseng also has a layer of obvious protrusions on its skin, forming a special pattern. The only difference is that the pattern on the skin of the crystal blood dragon ginseng is a 5-claw dragon, while the pattern on the skin of this ginseng is a 5-feathered green phoenix. The green phoenix pattern was lifelike, emitting a faint emerald green glow. It looked like a real phoenix that was about to burst out of the ginseng skin and fly into the sky. There is no doubt that this ginseng is the legendary 10,000-year-old ninth-grade ginseng king, a peerless fairy product that has seized the fortune of heaven and earth. Among the many immortal herbs, only the king of immortal herbs, acacia heartbreak red, and the crystal blood dragon ginseng that has grown to 10,000 years old can be compared with it. Endless vitality was released from the 10,000 years ninth-grade ginseng king, infecting the soil at the top of the cave. Above the cave, a pine tree with roots in the soil absorbed the vitality, and its lushness and thickness far exceeded the other pine trees in the forest. A moment Lin Rong stepped into the far north carrying the crystal blood dragon ginseng in the underground cave. The 10,000-year-old ninth-grade ginseng king was shaking its body slightly. It had a very high intelligence, but for some reason it had a vague premonition of something bad happening. But this premonition was not strong, and seemed to be mixed with something it longed for. In addition, the 10,000-year ninth-rank ginseng king was extremely confident in his earth escape technique, so it did not choose to leave this hiding place in the cave. A pot was set on the fire. The old butler cut a small piece of the king ginseng in his hand and put it into the pot, and then continued to add the rest of the hot pot ingredients into the pot. Lin Rong sat aside, looking at the 1,000-year-old ginseng king in the old housekeeper's hand, with a question in his mind that he couldn't figure out. The yin yang eye of ice and fire has been around for so long that there are many 1,000-year-old ginseng kings growing inside it. Logically speaking, since there are ginseng kings in the eyes of Binghuo Liangai, it should not be a problem for these ginseng kings to grow to the 9th grade after so many years. But in fact, among the several 1,000-year-old ginseng kings in Binghuo Liangai's eyes, none of them were of good quality. In other words, there is not a single ginseng that is more than 20,000 years old. Given the effect of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire on the growth of rare plants, this kind of situation should not be possible. But such an incredible thing actually happened in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Could it be that it is because ginseng has spiritual powers? So, once ginseng grows to the first grade of ginseng king, they don't like the growing environment of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, so they will run out of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire and find a place to hide? Or in other words, as long as one ginseng grows to the first grade of ginseng king, the rest of the ginseng will be restricted by the rules of heaven and earth and will not grow anymore if their age exceeds 10,000 years? After much thought, only these two explanations can explain why there are no ginseng kings of the first rank or above in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. And of these two statements, the latter is obviously more reasonable because the former cannot explain why the ginseng king, who has entered the highest grade, would give up such a superior environment as the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire and run out to find other places to grow. The latter can not only explain the problem that only one high-quality ginseng king is needed to suppress the rest of the ginsengs, but they will not be able to grow again after 10,000 years. The issue of the age of the crystal blood dragon ginseng was also explained. The crystal blood dragon ginseng is naturally of grade 8 and has evolved over 10,000 years. A 10,000-year-old crystal blood dragon ginseng is comparable to a 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king. So if the crystal blood dragon ginseng is 20,000 years old, 30,000 years old, or even older, which other immortal herb in the world can compare with it? However, if it is the crystal blood dragon ginseng, it will be suppressed by the king ginseng. Once it grows to 10,000 years old, it will not be able to continue growing in this way. The 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king can be compared with a crystal blood dragon ginseng which is only 10,000 years old at most, and only then can they be qualified to be called the king and queen of ginseng. In the original book, the 10,000 years 9th grade ginseng king is described as a ginseng that has grown for nearly 100,000 years. However, when the original novel first described Tang Hao's 9th soul ring, it was also black with a hint of red. The Titan ape was first described as being over 10,000 years old. But later in the mouth of Dragon Lord Mengshu it became over 60,000 years old, but in the end, Tang Hao's 9th soul ring and the Titan giant apes were both 100,000 years old. The data is horribly confusing, therefore, I directly changed the setting of the 10,000 years 9-grade Ginseng King. The 10,000 years 9-grade Ginseng King is a ginseng that has grown for 100,000 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 50, Hidden in the Void. After eating the hot pot, Lin Rong rested in the cave with the old housekeeper for a night. The action officially began the next morning. Lin Rong and the old butler first looked for a relatively spacious open space outside the frozen forest. The view here is wide, and the soul beasts active nearby are not very powerful, so it is a good place to make plans in order to save soul power. Lin Rong did not let the dragon soul of the 9-bend vine dragon come out to help him resist the severe cold and strong winds, but instead put on the cold-proof clothes prepared by the old housekeeper before. With the dragon soul protecting him, Lin Rong thought it was nothing. It was not until the biting cold wind blew on his face like a knife that he realized how harsh the environment here was. In contrast, the old butler seemed very calm in the face of the biting cold wind. With the soul power of level 90 and the physical fitness provided by 8 soul rings, a little cold wind is nothing. When the old butler saw the young master's appearance, he put his hand on Lin Rong's shoulder and used his soul power to condense a barrier to block the cold wind. I really don't know why a 10,000-year-old 9th-grade Ginseng King would run to such a ghost place, Lin Rong complained, then wrapped the green dragon vine with his life force while taking out the crystal blood dragon ginseng. This layer of life force wrapped around the crystal blood dragon ginseng, preventing its breath from leaking out and avoiding being sensed by the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade Ginseng King. The old butler standing next to Lin Rong also released his martial soul, the heavenly star plate. During this period there were 8 twinkling stars on the white jade star disk, echoing with the 8 soul rings rhythmically moving under the old butler's feet. When the 9th star on the white jade star disk lit up, it meant that the old butler had completely entered the realm of title. Douluo, young master, it's time to start. After hearing this, Lin Rong held the old butler's hand, and at the same time, green lines shaped like bamboo leaves appeared between his eyebrows. Immediately afterwards, the bodies of Lin Rong and the old housekeeper gradually became ethereal, and finally disappeared completely in the open space in the forest. This is the skill of Kong King Zhu's head soul bone, concealment in the void. After activating this skill, Lin Rong himself will turn into nothingness on the spot. On the state of nothingness, one is immune to any physical and energy attacks, and cannot be detected by any skills or methods each time you enter the state of nothingness, unless you actively exit it. The state of nothingness will last for a maximum of 12 hours. Once a move is made, the entity will be revealed immediately. When Lin Rong first obtained Kong King Zhu's head soul bone, the age of the soul bone was still 981 years, and it had not yet broken away from the category of 100-year soul bone. The soul bone skill of void concealment can only be used on Lin Rong himself. When the soul bone grows to 1,000 years old, its skill of nothingness and concealment will be strengthened, and it can bring people into the state of nothingness. Now the age of Kong King Zhu's head soul bone is over 3,000 years old, and the soul bone skill void concealment can bring up to 3 people into the state of nothingness. This soul bone skill does not consume soul power, but there is a limit on the number of times it can be used per day. At present, Kong King Zhu's head soul bone is over 3,000 years old, and can use the void concealment at most 3 times a day. There is no doubt that this is an extremely practical and top-grade soul skill, but void concealment is not without weaknesses. That is, after using the skill, it takes a certain amount of time to completely enter the state of nothingness. Before completely entering the state of nothingness, you are not immune to attacks, but only have the effect of damage reduction. The closer the state is to complete nothingness, the higher the damage reduction ratio will be. Before Lin Rong completely turned into nothingness, he placed the crystal blood dragon ginseng in his hand on a rock without the source of power. The life force that wrapped the crystal blood dragon ginseng quickly turned into light spots and dissipated into the air without the cover. The breath of the crystal blood dragon ginseng was exposed to the outside world. Almost at the same time as the breath of the crystal blood dragon ginseng was exposed, an underground cave somewhere in the frozen forest, the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king that was lying on the rock a second ago suddenly trembled. The breath from the crystal blood dragon ginseng triggered the throbbing of the blood origin of the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king. This primitive call from the blood made the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king lose his former rationality. The next moment, the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king used the earth escape technique without hesitation, and rushed to the place where the crystal blood dragon ginseng was at the fastest speed in his life. Regardless of everything, time passed by minute. Lin Rong and the old butler, who were in a state of nothingness, were staring intently at the front. Being wary of the 10,000-year-old 9th grade ginseng king that might appear at any time, the 10,000-year-old 9-rank ginseng king is located in an underground cave some distance away from where the crystal blood dragon ginseng is located. Even though its earth burrowing speed is amazing, it still takes a while to reach its destination. During the journey, the most primitive call from the blood has passed its initial peak. The caution that had been ingrained in the bones of the 10,000-year 9th-rank ginseng king over the years began to allow him to maintain a trace of rationality in the face of the call that came from his blood. As time went by, this trace of rationality grew rapidly, causing the 10,000-year 9th-grade ginseng king's earth escape speed to involuntarily slow down a lot. But it only slowed down the journey because even if the 10,000-year 9th-grade ginseng king has regained his sanity, he still cannot completely suppress the call from his blood. However, the closer it got to the location of the crystal blood dragon ginseng, the slower the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king traveled. Being cautious and suspicious in his heart, the 10,000-year 9th-rank ginseng king checked for possible dangers on the road while on his way, but the journey was unexpectedly smooth. The 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king did not notice any danger on the way and arrived 1 mile away from the crystal blood dragon ginseng. Coming, Lin Rong held the old housekeeper's hand tightly, and his mood instantly became excited because he was in a state of nothingness. The life perception given to Lin Rong by the 9-curved vine dragon was greatly weakened. It was not until the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king came to a mile away that Lin Rong vaguely sensed its existence. Lin Rong frowned after sensing the abnormally slow progress of the 10,000 years 9-rank ginseng king. As expected of a ginseng king who has lived for 100,000 years, he is really cautious. The crystal blood dragon ginseng is already within reach, but I can still suppress the throbbing in my heart and carefully check the surroundings for any danger. Fortunately, I have the skill of void concealment, otherwise I might not be able to avoid the meticulous detection of the 10,000-year 9th-grade ginseng king. Deep underground, the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king would stop for a long time to check whether there was any danger around him. Every time he took a small step forward, it was only a 1-mile distance, but with the cautious behavior of the 10,000-year 9th-rank ginseng king, it took several hours for the 10,000-year-old 9th-grade ginseng king to finally reach the soil beneath the rock where the crystal blood dragon ginseng was located. Next to the rock, Lin Rong, who was in a state of nothingness, didn't know how many times he had cursed the 10,000-year-old 9th-rank ginseng king in his heart. I've been waiting for so long that the flowers are almost withering. It's finally time to take action. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.